Nick Abbott.
Hello.
This week, crazy Russian Premier Vlad the Insaner announced the start of the next arms race by planning to build a new generation of nuclear missiles. They're improved, with a new formula that will get rid of even those stubborn stains on the map. He then upped the ante by saying that America harboured an erotic desire to invade Russia and steal its natural resources. It must have been all those photos of him stripped to the waist that has made Uncle Sam go all gooey and want to invade his pants to get at his personal essence. If this were a film, Peter Sellers would be playing all the parts, but it's not. It's serious. So our politicians leapt into action and announced that from now on they will take much more holiday. The workload is so light they will now take more than 3 times the national average and over 90 days a year. The country can practically run itself these days, so why should they hang about when there's fact-finding missions to the Bahamas to take and hot secretaries to explore? Never mind that they only go to Parliament for Prime Minister's questions when they know it'll be on TV and only appear in their constituencies so they can claim their second homes as expenses. We should be grateful as a nation that they show up at all. We didn't at the polling station last time there was a general election. And England played South Africa at something called rugby. Whole sections of the country that couldn't tell the difference between a rugby match and a bar brawl have draped themselves in the flag and urged on our team to the result we all yearned for. And joy of joys, it happened. A great success. We lost. It's what we do best. Last year's win was a blip. Let's put that behind us. Let the joy be unconfined. We're back on track. Are we upset? No. Not really.
You've got to care a little bit.
Not a lot, no. I mean, I really don't. I just don't care about rugby. Neither, by the way, does anybody else, and I won't stand for any protestations to the contrary. So a lot of people in flags in Leicester Square, you know, shouting, and they did, for a little while there, look like football supporters who are, you know, manic and crazed about the game. Rugby fans, not so much. I mean, how many people showed up in France? Just about a train load's worth. It was a bit weak. If it had been the Rugby World Cup, well, there wouldn't have been any space in France left. It would have been shoulder to shoulder. And, by the way, how many flags did you see during the entire campaign? I saw them today in Leicester Square. People were wearing them against the cold. They probably didn't have, you know, everything else was in the laundry. They didn't have anything else to put on. If it had been a football match, we wouldn't have been able to move for flags. Every white van in the land would have had a flag sticking out its window. Now, not so much. You look like you're panicking in there.
Everything's fine.
Is it?
Yeah.
What?
I was trying to hear myself.
Blimey, you're the loudest thing I've ever heard. Tone her down, just a little bit. Your name is Roz.
It is.
And that's a little weird because, in Frasier,
The producer's called Roz.
is exactly right, yeah.
You have your very own Roz.
Yeah. And, James is here.
I am.
It's a completely new team to me. Every week it seems to be a completely new team to me. I'll just carry on regardless.
It's a nice surprise every week for you.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, it's a surprise, anyway.
It's like doing this show is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
You've got some nice chocolates this week.
I've got Jaffa cakes.
Ooh.
Oh, I shouldn't have said that. I've got sponges covered in chocolate with a smashing orange bit in the middle. Every word that I'm saying, by the way, is giving me great pain. Not only do I have a cold if I doze, and I've had it for about 2 weeks now. It's been impossible to shift. It's the weirdest cold I've ever had.
I did have that last week.
Really? That's nice, but we're talking about me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's gone through about 5 different stages. It's just taken forever. Either that or I've had 5 different colds that have all sort of faded. Yeah, again, you're looking panicked. You're shaking your head and well, what is going on in there?
I can't hear myself.
Trust me, you're very loud. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
That's all you need.
It's the only voice you need in your head.
Yeah, exactly. But when I see, I'm doing the show and I'm looking at you. That's all I'm looking at. As though I were doing a stand-up. And I'm looking out to the audience, and the audience is panicking like someone's just yelled fire, and I'm the only one who hasn't heard it.
This isn't a panicked
so
face.
if I see you two freaking out in there, suddenly I lose, well, both the will to live and my train of thought.
Well,
so
I'll
you
tell you
have
what-
to just beam. It doesn't matter if even if you're on fire. You have to just keep smiling at me and look directly at me and just, like, nod your head every now and again. Like, you know, those little dogs in the backseat of a car. Just like that, exactly. Doesn't matter what's going on. Osama bin Laden himself could have nicked your security tag and be using it to, he'd probably go in a heart, wouldn't he?
Probably.
Yeah. Where he would do most damage. Not here.
We're fine.
Change the music.
Yeah. When I said yes, that was directly after what you just said. That's not what I meant, and I didn't know you were going to say that, because the word yes was coming out before you just said that.
I don't
So
think
I
that's gonna
dissociate myself from the argument that you made some moments ago, but perhaps you'd like to expand on that. No? Okay, then I'll continue. Where was I? Oh yeah, my illnesses. So I've had this cold. This is weird for about 2 weeks now, and it's gone through, like I say, 5 different stages, the last of which seems to be in my throat. Great. Just as the weekend comes, can't say a word. And then I was doing a show, over at the other place, playing rock and roll! And I lose a piece of my tooth at the back, the size, and I'm not exaggerating, the size of a Volkswagen. And it's sharp in there like Mount Etna. And because the back of your tongue, suddenly I'm feeling like Jamie Oliver, my tongue doesn't fit my mouth. And every word that I say, my tongue is scraping against the razor-sharp remnants of whatever it is I've got in the back of my mouth. And I'm feeling like those people who do DIY dentistry, because why do, by the way, these things always happen at the weekend? If not on Friday, then certainly on Saturday. I call my dentist up, fully expecting them to be working on Sunday. Do they work on Sunday?
No.
No, they do not. They don't even work on Saturday. Not even for an emergency. Not even if I paid them double. Would they even answer the phone on a Saturday? What kind of a business doesn't work on Saturday, by the way? Even banks open on Saturday now. Is that true? Utter silence. This is going to be really hard, isn't it? I'll explain the rules of the game, and then, hey, Roz, put the phone down. Put the phone down.
Don't answer the phone.
The phone's down.
Okay, good. Because you've been talking to someone, I've got no idea who it is, and you've been having a long, involved conversation, the end of which looked like you were ready to slam the phone down. Never mind, I put it down.
No, it was a good conversation.
Oh, really? Well, that's
Yeah.
nice, but there's a show going on. You know, and if you're just chit-chatting, that's not really going to work. Here's how it goes. Hello? I'll put you on hold to talk to Nick, and then you just put the phone down. And
No,
that's
well, it did go like that, and then we kind of got cut off.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'll take it directly, thereby cutting out the middleman. Shall I do that?
Go on.
You're the producer. It's your show.
You should do that.
Gravesend. Hello, Sue.
Hi there.
Sue.
Yeah.
What was all that about, Sue?
Well, aren't we?
Huh?
We're surviving quite well, aren't we?
Who we?
You, me, Roz, and all the rest of us.
Yeah.
I mean, do we care about the rugby?
Do we care about the rugby? No, not really, no. We'll have forgotten about it in the morning, and everybody who pretends to be a rugby fan now, well, can go back to liking, football instead. The proper game.
Well, exactly.
As I was saying last week, it is interesting because it's a whole different sort of people. The kind of people that you don't normally get to see.
Yes.
I mean, rugby isn't very interesting to this nation, despite the fact that we've wrapped ourselves in it because it looked like we might actually win something.
We might win it, yes.
Exactly.
Yes. And so, typical of England, which thinks it might win something, and
because not since the Second World War, I don't think have we actually won anything, and America helped us do that. If it hadn't been for them, this show would be in German right now.
Yes. We're good at
losing,
facilitating and losing.
Facilitating.
Yes.
And what does that mean? What I think it means? We're great at that.
Yeah, and being laid back.
Yeah. You're so laid back, so you are horizontal.
Oh, definitely.
I'm going to send you some caffeinated coffee in the post. All right.
Right. Nice one.
Okay. Thanks, Sue.
Yowza.
All right. Cheers, my dear.
Bye.
Ta-ta. You calm down. All right. So it's going super fantastically so far. I'll take another one, shall I? We'll just press on and pretend that none of this is happening. So what would you do, by the way, if I was in agony? Because when my tooth fell out, I didn't know how it was going to go, because I'm biting down on a sandwich, and suddenly there's a little bit of that's...
How did it fall out?
I'm explaining it to you.
Sorry, go on.
I was biting down on a sandwich, and suddenly there's something crunchy in there that shouldn't be in a bacon sandwich. And I thought, ooh, what's that? And then you start to feel around your mouth. And I swear I am actually lacerating my tongue with every word that I say. But don't you worry about me. I shan't complain. Ow!
Did you keep the tooth?
No, I swallowed it.
Did you search for it?
No, I'll be doing that tomorrow.
Nice. Good luck.
Hello, Trixie.
Hello.
Trixie.
You sound fine this side, don't worry.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm sorry about your tooth. If you're in severe pain, I'm not sure, but you might be able to contact the people at Guy's Hospital.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to go to hospital. Sit on a plastic chair for 5 hours.
That's where they study dentistry, and they give the most marvellous treatment. That's just an idea.
Just a thought, though, Trixie. I'd rather get treated by someone who has studied dentistry, past tense.
They are just about to graduate. They are literally just about to... No. This is... I've had a friend... I've had friends who've been there, and they've had magnificent work done. There are people who cannot afford to have, very expensive dentistry done, and so they go there, and it's marvellous. And it's free. Just an idea. And anyway...
I know you're just trying to help.
I am trying to help. And also, you're helping yourself, because there's an obesity crisis right now. And because you're hurting yourself as you eat, you're biting your tongue all the time, perhaps it'll stop you from eating.
Well, maybe I get the taste for blood.
Well, there you go, and Halloween's coming up.
I don't... obesity is one of the few things that I don't have a problem with.
I know that. It's all right. But it might give other people an idea. They can crack their teeth and then lose weight.
Right. The tea plan diet.
Not a good idea, perhaps. Have you heard about the alcohol-free beer that's going to be served in France at the stadium?
Going to be?
Yeah.
Has been, you mean?
Or has been, sorry.
Why would they do that? I don't really understand the concept of alcohol-free beer. If you're not going to drink something with alcohol in it, don't drink beer.
Yeah, but the thing is that the people didn't know that it was alcohol-free until they started to drink it.
Oh, really?
Apparently.
They're selling it as beer, but in order to prevent trouble later, they removed all the alcohol.
It's a very good idea.
Huh.
I was saying to someone that it's just like the idea in The Prisoner. They have, looks like vodka, tastes like vodka, but doesn't have the same effect as vodka.
In The Prisoner?
In The Prisoner, the...
What, I am not a number, I'm a free man?
Precisely, at Port Merion.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it's a brilliant scene, and she...
Trixie, you're falling over yourself. Have you had any, alcohol-free...
No, I don't drink. I don't drink, honestly.
Righto.
No, sadly. But the...
Sadly? Well, go ahead, force yourself, Trixie. No?
You are mean, you are. I didn't speak to you for 2 weeks, and you make me fall apart.
Right.
That's
my fault.
The woman serving alcohol, I think it's whiskey or something, and he says, I suppose it doesn't have any alcohol. And that's what she says. And she says it looks like whiskey.
Well, I really don't understand the concept of alcohol-free booze. What is the point of that? I mean, if you're trying to avoid alcohol, wouldn't you not want to drink beer because it would remind you of alcohol?
They're not trying to avoid alcohol. They want the taste of the alcohol. But obviously the French...
Let me stop you there, Trixie. The beer, no matter what you say, doesn't taste nice. And here's the proof.
No, it doesn't taste nice.
Here is the
proof. I have tasted alcohol-free beer in the past. It's awful stuff.
Yeah, but never mind about alcohol-free beer. Beer. Actual beer doesn't taste nice either. And here's how I know why that is true. There's no product other than beer that tastes like beer. Ooh. Chocolate, on the other hand, comes in many various different guises. You can drink it, you can pour it on people and lick it off. It comes in, there's just so many...
that idea, yes.
I'll send you a pot in the post.
And it'll make your teeth fall out.
Yes.
But it's on lovely sort of orangey cake thingies, isn't it?
I wouldn't say that was actual chocolate. It's chocolate, it looks like chocolate. Tastes chocolate-ish. Probably not actually chocolate, no.
Oh, there you are. We're getting somewhere.
But maybe that is the reason that my teeth fell out, and I'll be consulting my lawyers in the morning.
Oh, that's a good point, isn't it? I like that idea.
Anyway, Trixie.
Will you get through it now?
What, the show?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on enough pills. You could use me as maracas, I shake so much.
Okay, I will take you up on that.
All right.
You take care.
Keep your hands off my maracas.
Nick Abbott.
Okie dokie.
Sometimes they say the number and sometimes they don't. Is there a reason for that?
Depends which button I press.
Oh, right. 0845 6060 973. I'm unaccustomed to saying it. South Norwood, it's Mr. Lister.
Good evening, Nick.
Philip.
I have found an old newspaper from 1910, the News of the World.
Where'd you find... Hang on. Whoa, Nelly, where did you find that?
Well, it was one of the ones that was reprinted some years ago, Nick.
Oh, right.
But funny enough, this week it's become really topical. The headlines in the paper from 1910 have been in our papers this week.
Huh.
Do you know what it was about?
Well, it couldn't possibly be obesity, because no one was fat back then.
It was a murder, actually.
Oh, you were going to tell me anyway.
It was a murder.
Right.
It was a case of cripping.
Right.
And what happened, because I don't know if you read this week, they found out they've been doing DNA on the body under his house, which was responsible for him being hung for murder, and they found out that it isn't the person they thought it was.
Huh.
And the case was...
The good doctor's going to be very upset.
It happened back in 1910. Very briefly, the story was this doctor was accused of murdering his wife.
Right.
And he absconded on a boat, or went on a boat to America with his lover.
That's not really a fast getaway in 1910, is it?
Well, it was funny because he did it from, I think it was from Amsterdam, and the police found out about it because it was the first use of the telegraph system.
What was?
On the boat. See, the captain thought it was a bit suspicious the way they were acting, and he telegraphed England.
Yeah.
And the police got on another boat and chased him.
Is that a fact?
Yeah.
Rowing they were.
No. You see, they were coming around, the police were coming from Liverpool.
Right.
So the boat they were on was faster, sorry.
Faster?
Faster, yes. And,
Far faster.
Yeah, they caught him, and, as I say, I was really interested to read. Funny enough, I was put the radio on this morning, and I think John Holmes mentioned it briefly on his programme. And it's really interesting, what was going on in 1910, apart from cripping. Some of the things...
I feel a list coming on, Philip.
Well, no, just that I'd have a quick browse through it. I know you're very interested in newspapers and what was happening in 1910.
Yeah, it's always on my mind.
Yeah, I know it is. That's why I run.
I'm glad you did.
One half of the page was a song.
Oh, it was a what?
A song.
A song?
The words of a song. So you could sit round the piano and sing this song.
I feel pretty.
No, not that one. No.
Not that one.
It's
right.
called Flanagan, and it's sung in the musicals by Florrie Ford. And you could actually cut it out, and they had the words and the music.
Well,
so
that's exactly what they're doing today. When we get the papers, assuming that the boy delivers them here before we leave the air at 1 tomorrow morning, they're still giving away music.
Yes.
No end of it they are.
I mean, but this was sheet music. I mean, you wouldn't get...
Yeah, well, there's no doubt about it. The list of the stuff that they're giving away tomorrow, it's exactly what you just said.
Yeah, but they had suits, Nick. You could buy a made-to-measure suit from real British fabrics for 21 shillings.
A bargain at half the price.
I mean, yes. There's a lot of adverts for bikes. I don't know whether in 1910... bikes were the in thing.
I think they were the only thing.
Well, I don't know. Were there any cars?
In 1910?
Yeah, I'm sure there
were. Mm-hmm. But most people couldn't afford them.
No, that's true. So maybe that's why there's...
Almost a complete reversal of the situation today, where most people can't afford bikes, because you have to replace them on a weekly basis, because some oik will nick it, no matter where you park it.
That's right. I mean, they say that that's on the increase.
You could tie it to an elephant, and it would still be gone when you got back.
I used to have a bike with a nut in the middle, that you took the nut out. No. This is true. And when I used to go to work, I used to take the nut out.
Yeah, the nut would get off the bike, then take the nut out.
They couldn't pinch it. Well, they stole it. It wouldn't be any good to them.
Right.
Unless
They'll
they-
steal it anyway. Some ne'er-do-well, that's the nicest word that I can think of in the circumstances, nicked my sat-nav from behind this building just the other week. There was a camera pointing at him, I swear, not 10 yards away.
Yeah.
And he did it anyway. He took the sat-nav, but left the sucker thing that attaches it to the window, thereby rendering it totally useless. What an idiot.
Have you got him on, have they got a picture of him?
Yes, we have pictures of him in high definition and stereo, and still the police aren't going to do a thing.
Why?
I don't know. They called me up the other day and they said, is this, it's Mr. Abbott, you had, recently, you had, this is the, it was some lame thing like the victims support unit.
I know, yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And they said, do you know what the latest is? And I said, well, I didn't think there was a latest, because they previously had wrote to me saying, we're not going to do a thing about it, in nicer language than that.
Yeah,
but they basically said, unless you're being, stabbed to death, at the moment, don't even bother calling us.
Did you tell them who you were?
No, I told them who you were.
It wasn't me.
They'll be around at 5.
Wow.
No, they said, yes, well, we're just calling you up to give you the latest. And I thought, oh, blimey, they've caught the bloke, and I'm going to get my sat-nav back. And they said that, and I said, no, so what is the latest? And he said, oh, well, we've dropped it. But the case is closed and we're not going to do anything.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Right, and so they called me up to tell me, again, for the second time, that they weren't going to be doing anything, but they just wanted to let me know.
Why aren't they going to, did they say why they're not
Keep me
going to...
updated. Well, they said that there wasn't a witness when there was. The security man in this building watched them do it on TV.
Yeah.
They said that the tape from the camera wasn't that clear. Well, you know, if they really wanted to get him, then they would have hoodoo voodooed it down at CSI.
Yeah.
And they didn't have any fingerprints or anything like that. No evidence of that kind. Well, they didn't come to my car to take any.
Oh, no, ridiculous.
The fingerprints are all over the door of the glove box because he ripped it off with both hands and left it in the footwell. So there's no end of evidence. They just can't be bothered.
I think it's, disgraceful. I really do think I'm surprised, I mean,
You're surprised? Oh, come on, Philip. You might think it's disgraceful, but you can't tell me that you're surprised.
Well, you're in the, people know you. And
oh, yeah.
I'm sure there's lots of police
Famous
this program.
Yeah, undoubtedly, yeah.
Just back to 1910, Nick. Just living in Croydon.
That's a very smooth link.
there was the Croydon Hippodrome, and they had a great lot of people at the music hall. They had Vesta Tilley was coming.
Oh, he's great.
No, that was a woman.
Like I said.
Bert Coote.
Who?
Bert Coote.
Oh, that old coot, yeah.
Yeah, and the Three Mayors.
The Three Mayors?
Yeah.
Right, they'll almost certainly be hanging out at the chip shop later, Three Mayors. Three fat
There's a lot of adverts for books, so people must have ridden bikes and read books.
And read books.
In 1910. Because I was in the library this week, and the
same
fire
time.
alarm went off.
Hence the death rate. When the fire alarm went off.
We all had to come out.
Right, so you had to close down your computers.
Yes.
See?
Yeah, it was funny.
You weren't reading a book at all. Who are you trying to impress?
Well, no, I was on the computer.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, I'd done some printing of stuff I wanted.
Yeah, I bet.
No, not that. Oh, by the way, Nick, did you ever go on that editorial cartoons website I told you about?
I forget almost everything I'm told ordinarily, but especially on this programme.
Oh,
so
right.
if I didn't write it down, then no, I didn't.
Okay. Yeah, so really, as I say, it was certainly interested in 1910, so, of what's going... There's no rugby in the paper.
Right.
But
frankly, I'm glad I'm living now, because of all the times to have been living in the history of the world, right now is the time that you want to be living.
I bet the police would have come round in 1910 for your sat-nav.
Yes, they would. They'd have blown their little whistle and everything.
Yeah, Dixon and Doc Green and...
That's right.
And
they would have beat them, if they had found the perpetrator, they would have done the right thing and beat them to until they were a stain on the carpet.
Yeah, I mean, they'd put them in the stocks and...
yeah, wouldn't that be great?
I agree. I think that is what they should do, because they hate to be humiliated.
Humiliated, yeah. Is you disrespecting me and all that?
Yeah, and, put the stocks in the middle of Leicester Square and... or whatever you want.
Right, well, I'll bring my own vegetables. How about you?
Yeah, get half a pound of tomatoes.
Yeah, okay. It's a date, Philip.
Okay, Nick.
All right, thanks a lot, mate.
All the best.
Ta-ta. This is LBC. We'll go away to come back.
On 97.3
DAB
and online.
London's biggest conversation. LBC. LBC 97.3. 0845 6060 973. Nick Abbott.
Are you trying to tell me that this is your act?
This? Surrey. Hello, James.
Hello. Yeah, legalised, mate. Oh, seriously, that try is stupid. Like, why was that not allowed?
I don't know. I didn't see it.
Did you not watch it?
No, I was busy.
We should have won, and we've been cheated out of it, so...
Yeah, sure. What was the score again?
It's really like... Huh?
What was the score again?
Huh?
What was the score again?
Sorry, mate. Got bad hearing, innit?
Right, okay. I'll go to someone who's apparently less annoying. What was the score again? 15-6, right?
I believe so, yes.
6-16, I think. Can you have a 6-16?
I've got no idea.
Rugby's not my thing.
No, mine either. Nor anybody else's. We're pretending a lot, but and no one's convinced so far.
15-6.
15-6. Right, and so another try would have been...
So anyway...
I'm a bit mystified by that, but in actual proper football, you score a goal, you get 1 point. 1 goal equals 1 point. You score a goal in rugby, it doesn't equal 1 point, it equals some
3
number that they've just pulled out the air. What is that? What's that about?
Don't know.
And then you kick it over you kick the silly thing over the post, and it's worth not 1 again, or is it 1, or is it 3, or it's just whatever they decide at the time, or they pull a number out of a hat, or what kind of a game?
It's been a while since I played.
What kind of a game is that?
Someone rolling a dice at the side.
Yeah, American football is the same. 1 point doesn't... And this is why Americans hate... one of the reasons that they hate soccer is because you can have a great game of football, and it can be 1-0, and they just can't get their head around scores that are that small. Because in American sports, be they basketball or baseball or American football, we're in almost triple digits, the scores at the end of the game. But come to find out that when you're actually watching a match of American football, every time they do something, they award themselves 56 points for every single thing they do. So they'll score once. It might be a slight exaggeration at 56, but they don't get 1 point for one score. They get many points, thereby rendering the entire point system pointless.
This is why sports is pointless. Doesn't make sense.
Sports is pointless. Discuss.
Unless it's gymnastics with a nice ribbon.
Shut up.
That doesn't count as sport.
It's not sport, it's a pastime.
Or swimming.
Swimming isn't sport either.
Or ice skating is lovely to watch.
Yes, lovely to watch. Anything that's lovely to watch isn't a sport, it's a pastime.
No, it's
absolutely.
It's a sport.
Is that the...
Although I must say...
Is that the special disapproving look that you reserve for people who have been totally stupid?
I must say, the only times I've watched rugby in my entire life was last week and this week.
Right.
And I find it a lot more interesting to watch than football.
Now, see, that's a silly thing to say. Rugby, as far as I can tell, is just organised fights.
But that's why it's so interesting to watch.
Well, you like fights.
Oh, and...
You're the girl at the back of the pub holding his jacket going, no, don't do it, it's not worth it. Except you're urging them on to do it, because it's exciting, right?
And the rugby players have better legs.
Yes, and I think much of that is to do with steroids, as I mentioned last week. Try and tell me that steroids is not coursing through the veins of rugby.
We wouldn't know that.
And I won't believe... Absolutely we know that, because they're all, as I said last week, they're all square. Any human that comes in a square, both their bodies and their heads, is on steroids.
I love their ears.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, it looks like the vegetable rack in Sainsbury's.
Cauliflower.
It's hideous, and they're stuck with those ears for the rest of their lives. That's why rugby is so bizarre. Footballers look pretty, sound stupid. Rugby players, completely the reverse. They look stupid, sound like they've all been to
You can't really understand them.
No, rugby players you can understand.
That's terribly posh.
Yeah.
It is more of a posh person's game, isn't it?
That's right. Well, we did, well, when I say we, I mean the school did rugby when I was at the posh school that I went to in Edinburgh, at the, comprehensive that I
You
went to.
should know the rules, then.
Well, I didn't go.
To school?
Well, no, sometimes I went to school, but I certainly did not go to games. Games was not on my radar. Hanging out with the lads, smoking fags, which we bought in singles, by the way.
How?
In our school uniforms, we used to walk into the shop and he would sell them, to us in singles. 5p a fag. Isn't that outrageous? Here is, Bracknell. Hello, Jethro.
Oh, hiya.
Hey, it's Jethro Dahl.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that someone, some naughty miscreant, stole your sat-nav.
Yeah, I bet you are.
No, I am, seriously.
Oh, right.
Oh, all right, well, I won't sympathise then.
No, go ahead, sympathise away. I need
Oh,
strokes.
terrible. What an intrusion of your personal property.
Exactly.
And how terrible, because you've spent time and energy building up financial resources to buy that, and
Yes.
he's done nothing, and it's thought it's within his rights to whip it away from you.
Yeah.
And the man had, I imagine it was a man, has no idea of moral...
I imagine it was a boy, actually.
Boy.
When does a man become a boy?
Oh, he's a boy then. He seems to be being brung up improperly by both state and parents.
Yes, don't blame the state. It's the well, first of all, it is the parents' fault, but then you have to take responsibility for your own actions. You can't just keep blaming everybody else all the time. But the truth of the matter is, and it's a shocking truth, that we are a nation of thieves.
That's true. I saw an ITV program the other day, and there were these poor shopkeepers in various parts of the country, and there were people who didn't seem to understand the policy that when you go into shop and you want something, you're meant to pay for it.
Yeah.
They just seem to want to whip it off the shelves and put it under their
Right.
jackets all the time.
And as soon as you question that action, they start up with the "don't talk to me, don't disrespect me," and all of that. And you think these people are actually living in another planet.
And they've all been to state education school up to the age of 16 because that's the law, they have to. And they've obviously been very, very well educated by our state educational teachers in teaching them...
Well, listen, you can't teach kids who don't want to learn.
First principle.
Like I said, you can't, you got to take responsibility for your own actions once in a while. It's not someone else's fault for the rest of your life.
Right, okay.
It's you that is. Not you, but, you know.
So they failed to get through to them then.
But that is quite shocking, though, that we, you know, we don't think of ourselves this way. We still have this sort of rosy, well, actually a black and white image of ourselves as, you know, plucky, stiff upper lip, always do the right thing, Brits, like from an Ealing comedy. But actually, we put more people in prison than any other European country, more people per head of population than any other country in Europe.
But is that because our people are more delinquent than the other Europeans?
Yeah, absolutely. We get pregnant earlier, we take more drugs, and everything that's wrong, we're top of the list. We're number one.
It was also true. Do you remember the 24-hour drinking legislation that was meant to introduce the continental cafe culture?
Yeah, that'll work.
Is it people only get drunk because the time limit cuts in at 10:30 or 11, and so they decide they've got to get 8 pints of lager, very, very expensive, overpriced, overtaxed lager down their necks before 11 o'clock. But if you allow them to drink for 24 hours, they'll obviously go out and drink, I don't know, Chateauneuf de Pape, one glass, and then go home and talk about Sartre. It didn't seem to work, did it?
Not really, no. And I've been going on about alcohol limits for a good long while now, and I've always said, rewind the tape, James, I'm right about this. I've always said that the limits that they keep banging on about, oh, you shouldn't drink more than a glass and a half a day, otherwise you'll die really quickly. This is what they've been saying for ages, and then they came out and said that the middle class are a bunch of drunks, and we're all going to hell in a handbag. And I've always said that these figures that they're giving us are false. And here's why I know. They're basing them all on... This is what I've always said, and then I'll read out an article that was on the front page of I think it was the Times today. I've always thought that these figures that they're saying that if you drink a certain amount you'll get cirrhosis of the liver and curl up into a tiny brown lump and die, are based on what people who present these problems in hospital say they drink. Now, anybody that's asked, how much do you drink, immediately, before you open your mouth, within a split second, you halve the amount that you actually drink, because it's just a fantastically huge amount, right? You know you drink more than they're telling you that you should. Yeah. So if your doctor ever says, or, you're filling out your form for the health insurance people, or anything like that, you say, you write down a tiny fraction of the amount that you actually drink, which is exactly what the people who are going with an exploded liver into hospital say when they are asked by the nurse who's mopping up their who's like sweeping up the bits of their colon into a bucket. They ask them how much they drink, and they say, barely a half a bottle a day. And they conclude from that if you drink a half a bottle a day, then your intestines will explode through your chest. But they're lying. And so the information that they're giving us is based on lies. This is what I've always said. Now, fault the logic in that. You can't do it. Because they're not going to do a controlled experiment. They're not going to take 50 people over here and let them sip a glass of wine a day, and then another 50 and force-feed them wine like a duck for, what do you call that goose pate stuff?
Oh,
foie gras. Yeah, they're not going to force-feed, 50 pints of lager down their throats every day, just to see what happens, are they? So it's all based on them telling the medical professionals how much they drink. And they're lying. So, therefore, we're being lied to when they tell us how much you should drink in order to stay healthy. They're lying to us. And I seem to have been the only person who's saying this. And every time I say it, I think, well, some medical people are going to start complaining that I'm saying this, and how dare I, and I'm, potentially ruining the health of the nation, and blah, blah, blah. But, come to find out, on the front page of the Times today, and I'll just read this little bit here, guidelines on safe alcohol consumption limits that have shaped health policy in Britain for 20 years were, quotes, plucked out of the air as an intelligent guess. The Times reveals today that the recommended weekly drinking limits of 21 units of alcohol for men and 14 for women, first introduced in 1987 and still in use today, have no firm scientific basis whatsoever. Now, 21 units of alcohol for men, what is that? What is that?
There's two units in a pint of beer, isn't there? And I think, and 1 unit in a small glass of wine. But
right.
Anyway, it all depends on your body size as well, and also your metabolism, or what's good for you. So you can't. The generalisation is too crude.
What I think they're saying isn't it something like a bottle of wine a week, or a bottle and a half of wine a week for a man to drink? And above that, your brain will burst inside your head. That's just absolute rubbish. You can drink a bottle of wine a day and have absolutely no negative effects whatsoever. Am I right? Come on, Ros.
It hurts my credit card quite a bit.
Subsequent studies found evidence which suggested that the safety limits should be raised, but they were ignored by a succession of health ministers. They're lying to us too. One found
that can't be true.
Shut up.
You're not saying that politicians lie. I just don't believe you at all.
One found that men drinking between 21 and 30 units of alcohol a week had the lowest mortality rate in Britain. Another concluded that, are you ready? That you would have to drink 63 units a week, or a bottle of wine a day, to face the same risk of death as a teetotaler.
Isn't that incredible? Does that mean when I have my PG Tips on my Brook Bond or whatever other commercial brand there might be,
other teas are available.
Yeah, other teas. That I'm experiencing the same kind of danger to my well-being as if I drink, a bottle of wine a day?
The disclosure that the 1987 recommendation was prompted by a feeling that you had to say something came from Richard Smith, a member of the Royal College of Physicians Working Party that produced it. He told the Times that the committee's epidemiologist had confessed that it's impossible to say what's safe and what isn't because we don't really have any data whatsoever. So they just made it up because they thought they had to say something. Isn't that incredible? That was in 1987. 20 years later, they're still trotting out the same lies, basically. They're just lying to us. Mr. Smith, the former editor of the British Medical Journal, said that members of the Working Party were so concerned by growing evidence of the chronic damage caused by heavy, long-term drinking that they felt obliged to produce guidelines. Those limits were really plucked out of the air. They were not based on any evidence at all. It was a sort of guess. Mr. Smith's disclosure cast doubt on the accuracy of a report published this week that blamed middle-class wine drinkers for placing some of Britain's most affluent towns at the top of the hazardous drinking list. What rubbish. The study commissioned by the government relied on the 1987 guidelines, which suggested that men drinking more than 21 units a week and women consuming more than 14 units put their health at significant risk. In a further attack on Britain's drinkers, it was revealed yesterday that a coalition of health organisations is mounting a campaign to force a, guess what, increase in the alcohol taxation.
I thought you were going to say referendum.
No, that's long gone.
What, referendum on the EU? You're not saying we're not going to have a referendum on the EU, are you?
Oh, do shut up, Jethro. Right. Of course not. The red lines. Remember the red lines?
Were you not meant to stop on the road at any point?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Well, right. Listen, Barroso talked about the red lines today. Someone asked him, how long are they going to be in position? And he
Barroso?
said... Barroso.
Who's that?
You don't know nothing. He's our new El Presidente. He's our unelected El Presidente because we're all citizens of the EU now. Isn't that one? Are you not joyous? Are you not happy? Are you not elated that we've got now the members of the EU rather than the United Kingdom?
No, I'm completely ignorant. Barroso. It sounds like a drink that you would set fire to.
He's a Portuguese unelected president of the EU Commission.
Portugueser.
He's
right.
a Portugueser, yes. And he said,
who cares? Interesting that Tony Blair is going to be. Wait a minute. He's going to be shut up. He's going to be a shoo-in to lead Europe. This is and you
winning liar.
You begin to.
Say that?
You begin.
I think he is. It's only a personal, subjective position.
Be quiet. Okay. You begin to smell a rat. Because what they've actually done is they secured their own pensions. Because as soon as they get kicked out of high office, Gordon Brown and whoever might follow him, all they're going to do is just slip into a nice, comfortable, part-time role running Europe on on massive expenses, and, I bet, a tax-free salary. They
get bad.
They're just securing their financial future.
I bet they
This is why they're smiling so much.
Can I talk?
No.
Please.
Oh, in closing.
Yeah, I bet those top-rate politicians get a form of human foie gras because they're stuffing their faces with on our taxpayers' money with high-level, high-quality food all the time.
It's a human what?
Foie gras.
Well said.
Nick Abbott.
Well, let's get back to it.
Weybridge. Oh, Andrea.
Yes.
Andrea.
Yeah. Well, first of all, can I just say that if you obviously didn't watch the rugby tonight...
No, I was busy.
Right. Well, it was... England acquitted themselves really, really well. And some of the referees' decisions were distinctly questionable, especially over the try.
Yeah.
And no doubt that they'll be having a post-mortem on that forever and a day.
For the rest of our lives, yeah. But other than that, tremendously exciting.
Boring!
Yeah.
Pity we lost, but never mind. It wasn't ignominious defeat.
That's easy
What
for
I
you to
would
say.
like to say is, I do challenge you on you do make a lot of sweeping generalisations.
Who, me?
And especially the one over our prison population.
What do you mean?
And if you're going to make sweeping generalisations, you have to err
It's true. With the possible exception of Luxembourg, we put away more people per head of population than any country in Europe.
Agree,
That's true.
I agree, but actually, they're not indigenous Brits. They are, a third of them are foreign nationals.
Well, that's the same for all European countries.
No, it isn't.
Of course it is.
No, it isn't.
Well, yes, it is. On the other hand, yes, it is.
We actually put there. So you're saying to me that there are more British people. There is a third of other.
I'm saying to you, Andrea, that as a country, we put away more people per head of population than any country in Europe.
I'm not disputing that, but
Right.
what you were saying is that British people are therefore have more criminals than other nations.
That's correct.
Yes, but they're not indigenous Brits.
But
a third of our population are foreign nationals.
But they don't come here and go straight into prison, do they? And neither do foreign nationals take more drugs than any other country in Europe. Explain that one away.
We're not, that's a completely separate argument.
Well, no, it isn't, because how can you differentiate drugs from an argument about criminality?
I wouldn't argue about drugs because I don't know anything about drugs, but I do know about criminality, and I do know that our prisons are we have a third of the people in our prisons.
All right, excuse me.
I'll
I'll change my argument. There's barely a criminal in the entire country, and all the people in prison are foreigners. Okay?
No, that's not true. That's not what I've said. What I've said is
what point are you making?
The point I'm making, the point you were making earlier,
we're all criminals, yeah.
Was that all British people are criminals?
Yes, that's right, except for you, Andrea, obviously.
No, I'm not. Actually, I'm very law-abiding.
Including you.
No, I'm very law-abiding.
Right.
Actually, yeah.
So says you. How do we know that?
Well, you have to take my word for it.
Well, I don't know. Hands up in there. Do we want to take a word for it? Does she sound honest and law-abiding? We're not sure. We're thinking...
But the point I am making is that you were saying...
Right, all the criminals are foreigners.
No, you were saying that that the Britons, or you were agreeing with a caller who was saying that all British people...
Are criminals.
Yeah,
and quite right too.
Blatantly not true.
How can you say that, Andrea?
Because it isn't. I'm not...
Have you been on a bus lately?
I have, actually, and I agree with you. I mean, I despair of the way this country is going. I do. I've even considered, and it's something I never thought I would ever do, leaving when I retire.
Right. Where would you go?
I don't know.
Sunny Spain?
No, I don't think so. Because I think Spain is going to get even sunnier, and then I don't want to be hot.
Well, that's a good point, yeah.
So, I don't know. Tuscany sounds appealing.
Tuscany, right.
Yeah, somewhere like that.
Where English is practically the only language spoken, yeah. We'll all stick together and invade Italy.
Or France, somewhere in France.
Yes, because they'll love us. They'll love us for going over there and asking for things in English.
Over there.
Yeah.
Well, actually, with the number of people that come over here, then we'll all move over there and we'll just swap countries.
We'll swap, yeah. Wouldn't that be great? We'll go somewhere warmer and nice.
Well, you can have England for a bit.
Yeah, I will, yeah, all to myself. All right, thanks a lot, Andrea.
Okay, thank you.
Cheers, ta-da.
Bye.
Now, what a nice lady. She called in very angry and left chuckling.
Did well.
Yeah, I'm actually helping people now. It's Burton-on-Trent. Hello, Adrian.
Hello, Nick. You've always been good at helping people.
Yeah, that's right. It's what I live for.
Yeah. Oh, I can't believe... Oh, that's just an idiot text, but don't worry about that.
Stop giggling.
You've always...
Aren't you in America?
Not yet. That's next week, Nick.
Oh, blimey! This is the longest build-up to a trip. Not even Francis Drake had a build-up to a trip as long as yours.
I suppose it sort of reminds you. You remember like the 60s Batman, where he's on the conveyor belt about to get chopped.
Yes, exactly right. Yeah, and we go to the break, and by some miracle, he's 3 feet further away than he was when we left him.
Yeah, but this time next week, I'll be, well...
Dead. Because you'll have gone to America, you fool.
You can't see that.
Mind you, you're more likely to get shot in this country these days. Yeah. By a foreigner, Andrea. There you go, that's a little proviso. Because nobody in this country carries guns. Oh, no. They're all, coming over here and shooting us, they are. Us poor defenceless Brits.
Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, I've been landed about 12.
I'm only laughing because I'm on, I am high as a kite. I'm on more pills. Even the traffic Taliban policeman of North Wales, he must be thrilled the amount of pills I'm on. He said that we should legalise all drugs. You know, what's his name? Richard Brunstrom. Crazy name, crazy guy. I'll go with that. I'll go with that in a little bit. How is the war on drugs going, by the way?
Oh, fabulous.
That's the crazy names. I'm not into rugby, but there's one of the rugby players.
Dalalio?
No, not that one. There's one called Mike Hat.
Is there? This is how much I know about. Is there really a guy called my Hat? Mike Hat. Mike Hat. My cat. Oh, my cat. Oh, right, I get it. I was thinking about, Titfers.
No, I know it sounds like I'm winding you up, but somebody told me that his girlfriend's called Ali. And that's good.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but you and your maladies, you're still going on all these years later.
I live my life more healthily than anyone that's ever existed in the entire history of the human race. And I know, Andrea, that might seem like a sweeping generalisation, but it's actually true. And I still am more ill than anyone I've ever met. if you missed the start of the programme, every single word that I'm uttering is giving me great and continuing pain. It's actually getting worse, because my tongue is brushing up against the jagged remnants of one of my teeth.
Why don't you...
A chunk fell out the side that you could ski down it. It was so big.
You could leave early like you did when you had that poorly throat.
Huh?
That'd frighten the new people, wouldn't it? If you leave early.
Oh, leave early. Yeah. Well, I was thinking about not showing up at all. But I'm a trooper, and I'll keep going, eh?
Yeah.
I'm so brave.
Anyway, would you go...
Not in the history of human endeavour has anyone been as brave as me, and that's actually true.
Yeah. Would you go to a car boot sale these days? I don't think people do this anymore, but it may...
A car boot sale? No, that's where you get fleas, isn't it?
Yeah. That flea market. Yeah, but mate, I can't believe what he bought. He bought a mug from a car boot sale.
Well, that's all right. Stick it in the dishwasher, it'll be fine.
That's it. I thought I was disgusted. It's only because it was a Star Wars one. It was a bit of a geek.
Yeah.
But no, I thought people...
You're dobbing your mate in for being a geek. No, okay, here's a tip. Again, I'm helping people. Don't buy any furniture or soft goods from car boot sales, because fleas are apparently marching over the country, and they're taking over.
Yeah.
And they're doing it by people buying second-hand furniture. Aid, I've got to go.
Yeah, so maybe
Cheers,
next
mate.
week or maybe not. See what time I like.
All right. I literally can wait.
LBC 97.3.
Affirmative. 0845 6060 973. Nick Abbott.
Hello, boy.
So that nice man on the news was talking about the rugby, which everyone's still very upset about, and they will be for the next, 6-7 minutes. And he was saying that they didn't score a try because the man hit the whitewash first. Is that a euphemism for booze? Whitewash? What does that mean?
Isn't that washing powder?
No.
Is it
something to do with
when
the
you
line, or
put all your clothes in the same wash?
No.
How many goes do I get?
None at all from now on.
I suspect I may
You're
be
in
wrong.
the sin bin.
It's nothing to do with laundry.
Yeah, whitewash. What could that possibly be?
You're closer to rugby than us.
Oh no, well, I'm not. I really am not. He said that he didn't get the try because it hit the whitewash.
Is that one of the lines?
Well, why would they call a line a whitewash?
Why do they call it a try?
Because they have to try really hard to get one? Oh,
this is really confusing.
Edwina will know. Hey, Edwina.
Oh no, don't ask me.
Edwina.
Hi.
Hello.
You sound like you need lots of TLC this evening.
I need lots of tea.
LC.
Yes.
No,
what do you do about a tooth, by the way? I mean, when they, in Marathon Man, you remember Marathon Man with, that guy? Larry! He was the dentist.
Right.
Larry Olivier.
Right.
It's the only thing that anyone can ever remember about him, in much the same way that it's Yoda is the only thing that they can remember from Alex Guinness.
Yeah.
You know, Alex Guinness played Yoda. Yeah, I think that's right. It's the only thing that they can that anyone can ever remember about Alex Guinness. Poor bloke.
Oh no, he was a fantastic actor.
Well, apparently so. No one can remember him doing anything other than wearing
Taylor Soldier Spy.
Wearing a hood. And saying, if you strike me down, I will be stronger than you can possibly imagine. Or something like that. And then he struck him down anyway.
I couldn't listen to the rugby because very difficult for me because being South African born and living here for more years than over there, conflict of emotions, and I thought the best decision, don't listen to it.
Right, plus it's boring. Yeah, there is that.
Yeah. Listen, I want to test your brains.
Yeah.
Because you're the guy to go for help and, you know...
Obviously.
Putting things in perspective.
I should be your first call.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
What does that mean?
Listen, you know, Al Gore got this Nobel Peace Prize.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Now, it's been suggested the reason he got it was because, for example, Africa, if we don't do something now, Africa, there's going to be a huge problem with Africa and mass.
I think that there is a huge problem with Africa.
Well, there is at the moment, but it's going to be even
with every
worse.
Little square inch of it, there's a problem.
Yeah. Okay. So what I'm getting at is that I found out that they use something called cloud seeding. Have you heard that terminology before?
Cloud cuckoo land.
Seeding. No, cloud seeding.
Yes.
It's something that can be launched from the ground to the clouds.
Yeah, Kate Bush invented it.
No, it was invented in the war, 1940s.
Oh, right.
And you can also dump some chemicals from a plane onto the clouds. And basically what it is that you can cause it to rain when you want it to rain.
Groovy.
So my thinking is that they used this substance in the war. It helped our allies.
Yeah.
China wants to use it next year for the Olympic Games to stave off the rain and make it rain when they want it to.
Because when it rains in China, it rains like concentrated sulfuric acid. It's so dirty, the atmosphere over there. Can you believe that they're actually going to do it in China? Like, of all the places in all the world, China in the middle of the summer, it's about 100 degrees. People are going to actually catch fire running through the pollution in that heat.
I know, horrendous. Well, we won't talk about the Yangtze River or the Yellow River because that's...
Yeah, well, we know why it's yellow.
Yeah. And they're talking about Alton Towers using cloud seeding.
What?
Yeah, they're talking about it. You know, they're making inquiries.
Who are? The Riddler and the Joker? Alton Towers?
Yeah, people who are running Alton Towers are thinking about it.
Yeah, well, let them think away. They're not going to interfere with our weather. Who the hell do they think they are?
Well, because they want the punters to come in and enjoy themselves without it being raining.
I'm sure.
Yeah, so what I'm getting at is, if they've got this substance, why can't they use it now in Africa to stop the drought, give them the rain, they can grow their own food?
Right.
Probably
because there's no clouds. Doesn't there have to be clouds?
Well, yeah, there's got to be clouds, but there are clouds, because clouds contain moisture.
Yeah.
But
isn't that the problem, that there aren't any clouds containing moisture?
Yeah, well, there must be. I mean...
Well, maybe there aren't.
Well, I'm from South Africa, and you know...
Well, South Africa doesn't have a problem with rain, though, does it?
No, I know.
It rains all the time on the plains.
Well, you know, it has variations of weather, but I mean, you know, you can't tell me that in all of Africa, throughout the year, there are no clouds.
Right.
I'm not saying it's a good thing to use, because, you know, it's another chemical, and God knows we don't need more chemicals, but I was thinking...
That's what Amy Winehouse says.
But if we're...
She says that frequently.
You know what? I don't know what painkillers you're on, but whatever it is, it's working.
Yowza. Yeah.
Yeah, but do you understand my drift?
No. The rain in Spain should fall mainly on Africa. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah. You know, I mean, why, if they can engineer rain...
Why, oh, why? Yeah.
Why can't they do it for Africa? Is it in our interest to keep Africa...
moist.
Like this, and not help it.
Right.
Because, you know, if they're using this stuff, why can't they... That would be the place to use it, and not stupid places like...
Alton Towers.
Alton Towers, or the Olympics. Do you see what I'm getting at?
Well, I don't know, Edwin. I mean, which is more important? Hundreds of millions of people dying from starvation, or people enjoying themselves on the big plunge, or whatever the hell those rides are called?
You know, to me, Africa's more important.
Well, I don't know. It's a toss-up. We'll flip for it. But I don't know the reason for that, Edwina.
Listen, when you had your sat-nav, Sterling, you
yes.
didn't have your address on there, did you?
Yeah, I had it, yes.
You don't listen to me, because remember I
know, I'm an idiot.
I told you, don't keep your address on there.
I know, and I read it, and well, what's really annoying is that I knew, as I left the car, I looked at the front window, which was bathed in light from the street lamp that I left it under, by the way. Much good that did me. And I saw the sucker marks on the window, and I thought, oh, I must take those off sometime. Too late.
Too late. Well, they say that the new sat navs are going to have PIN numbers.
Oh, great. That'll stop some hooded oik smashing my window to rip it off me.
Oh, I'm very sorry that you've gone through all this, and I hope you get better real soon.
Hey, weren't you going to send me some money?
Oh, we see. I knew you were on something.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. Well, there was a postal strike, and I was.
Oh, that'll be what it is.
No, hold
postal
on.
strike.
And secondly, I was testing your memory.
Sure you were.
No, I want to come up to London and hand it in because I don't want to send a cheque.
You want to give it to me in person?
Oh, no.
Oh, great.
No, hand it into reception.
Oh, right.
And anyway, it'll be in the weekday when you won't be there, so, you're safe, I'll be safe.
So you're going to hand this, say this is an amount of money, give it to Nickers on at the weekend, you're going to hand it into reception. That's really going to get to me.
How can I do it? Because I don't want to send a cheque. It's going to cause you a lot of palaver. So
No, send me a cheque.
Send you a cheque?
Yeah.
So you don't mind that?
In fact, just give me cash. Show up at my address. Have you got a pen? I'll give you the address.
We've been down this road before, remember?
Call me at home, Edwina, and we'll meet later.
Okay.
It's 0208.
I hope you like this for the rest of the evening. It's great fun.
Well, if the pills run out, then I'll probably just collapse on the floor and Roz can take over.
Just make sure she gets you lots of tea.
Righto. Thanks a lot,
Okay,
Edwina.
God bless.
Cheers, my
Bye.
dear. Ta-da. So, did we sort that out? Is she actually going to send me some money or what?
What's the money for?
I can't even remember.
Wasn't it? It was the bet about.
And this is something that I didn't know. I had no idea that we had metaphorically shaken on a bet. And then she called me up the other week and said, "Hey, I owe you money." And I'm like, "Yes, of course you do." Thinking, no.
Do you know how much it is?
I think it wasn't specified. So however much you...
Could be a few thousand.
Yeah,
then.
so like the, like Radiohead, Edwina, however much you think I'm worth is what you should pay me. Plus the credit card
No,
fee.
don't leave it up to her.
Well, no, I think that sometimes that you can actually get more money if you leave it up to their conscience. Because Radiohead, they made something like... I think they had something like 1 million downloads in the first few days of them putting that new album live.
Mm-hmm.
Did you download it?
I didn't.
Right.
Did you?
No, not yet. I was going to download it for nothing, just to see if you could do that.
What song is it?
It's the new album, which I warrant.
So you can download the whole album?
Yeah, please keep up.
Finger on the pulse.
Yeah, this is about the only story about music of the last 2 weeks. Ever since Prince stopped playing the O2 Centre, the only thing that anybody's been talking about is this Radiohead album, because the artistes are selling directly to the general public now, thereby cutting out the middleman. And the middleman are all these coke-snorting, these hard-working executives at the big major labels who are running around, pulling their hair out, probably for the reasons that I've just explained, but also because they're seeing their business plan go down the tubes. Because the big artists, the one that they really make all their money from, they're saying, well, you know what, why should I give you 90% of the money that I earn? I'll just give it to the general public over the internet. Great new invention, and to keep all the money myself. And I got about 1 million downloads, and they said to people, just pay us what you think. And I think the average was £4, which seems like a reasonable amount to pay for an album that's like, meh.
Isn't that somehow breaking a contract with his record company, though?
Well, no, they're out of contract.
Oh.
I think I think the record company would have stepped in and stopped it if they had still been under contract. No, they're out of contract. I don't know how the record company allowed
£4 for a
that.
whole album isn't very good.
Well, it is if you make 4 million quid in a couple of days. Because a band like Radiohead, they haven't released an album in a good long while. If you like Prince, I don't know how hard-working and what's the word for producing a lot of material? How not industrious, but it's. I'll just
hard
forget.
work?
I'll just carry on. If it's pouring out of them, then they could release an album every 6 months. And all you have to do is to ask people to pay whatever they think, and you make 4 million quid in 2 days.
What do you normally pay for an album? About £11?
Nothing.
Why?
Well,
you don't steal, do you?
Well, when you say me, you don't mean me, do you? You mean one.
The general public.
Yeah, nothing. They nick it. Like I said, we're a nation of thieves. It's true, Andrea. It's not a generalisation.
Nick Abbott.
Right, so what are we doing?
She funny lady. Here's Burton on Trent. Alan.
Evening, Nicholas. How are you?
I don't know why I said that in that. This isn't
very
Alan.
showbiz-like.
Yeah. So
yes, please stop it. Quite irritating. It's not really like you. to do things like that.
Right.
Anyway, I just want you to settle a quick argument. You're sort of manners.
As long as it's quick.
Very quick. Christmas telly, one word.
Here, one word. Here too soon. I saw an advert from a
that
company.
Wasn't many words. That wasn't one word. Good night.
From that guy, he calls a lot. He's always irritating. Every single time I pick up his call, I hear his voice. I think, oh no, not him again. He manages to be irritating every single time he calls, and I don't mean that to be insulting.
That wasn't insulting.
No, it wasn't really. It's just true. It's my mission to be truthful. But seriously, every single time, I love taking calls from everybody except him.
Ah. So you should have done the little hand sign.
Okay, here's a hand sign. There you go.
Can't do that on the radio.
Count those fingers. Where was I?
Christmas TV?
Oh, yeah, I saw an advert for a company. I won't mention their name. It begins with A and ends in Goss.
Don't know which one.
They were doing. It wasn't a Christmas advert per se. I hate that phrase.
Per se?
Per se, yeah.
Where did it come from?
I've got no idea. Google it. Other search engines are available.
Let's have a look now.
Oh, you're actually going to do it?
Yeah.
You will not be able to find on Google where per se comes from.
Well, let's try.
Must be Latin or something.
There must be someone that knows.
Right, here we go.
Right.
Now you have to spell it.
Per se.
No.
How?
S-E?
I think it's, yes, S-E.
Doesn't look like it.
No. Chef Thomas Keller.
Oh, here we go.
No, there
Wikipedia, there we go.
Wikipedia knows
Wikipedia,
everything.
yeah,
That's the answer to everything in
Yeah,
life.
But it has
isn't it?
an answer to
It's
everything.
a Latin phrase
Also the answer.
used in English arguments for by itself.
By itself.
It's also used in law. Illegal per se is the legal usage of per se. Does this make any sense to you? Because it doesn't to me.
No.
Do you know the difference between unlawful and illegal?
Now, someone said this last week.
Last week?
Yes. Well, illegal is against the law,
Yeah.
and unlawful isn't.
No, unlawful is against the law. Unlawful
Well,
against...
so is illegal.
Well, no. Unlawful is but there is a difference. So they can't both be the same thing.
I wonder if Wikipedia will know.
Unlawful, I bet it doesn't. Click it in. Go ahead, the show will not continue until we get to the bottom of this. The difference between unlawful and illegal. Illegal. Spelt wrong again, never mind.
Oh, we don't have any Wikipedia.
Is there a difference between unlawful and illegal?
Let's have a look at this one. Grammar Girl.
No, I think you clicked the wrong one. Go back one, and then go up one. There you go. Is there a difference between unlawful and illegal?
Yahoo should know.
Yahoo. Yahoo. It seems that both words are quite similar, but in fact both are quite different from each other. If the words illegal and unlawful are considered in regard to the sense with which both conveys, it would be clear that unlawful covers more areas as that of illegal. All of this is wrong.
I didn't quite understand that.
It's much more simple. Unlawful is against the law, and illegal is a sick bird. Do you see?
No.
Here is Selsdon. Victoria.
That was the most appalling joke.
My favourite joke of all time.
Oh dear.
It's the only one I can remember.
Oh no, but it was so bad. It was good.
That and the only other joke I can remember is what's this?
What's what?
It's a dead one of these.
Oh God.
Which doesn't work on the radio.
No. Anyway, I was ringing. I know how you like to have a good sort of whinge about some things, and
Who, me?
I love whinging too. And the reason I want to whinge is I've really, really had a bad day trying to get my internet and my telephone direct debit sorted out.
Really? Please tell me more.
Stop whining!
Well, I phoned the major leading company after having my phone line slammed by another not-so-major leading company.
Yeah, slammed. Now, this is when they just nick you and take your account from a company that you thought you were with, and then that just seems incredible to me.
I know, and it wasn't just I suddenly realised I was with another provider, but they also took my internet service as well. which means that I've now been without internet for like nearly a month.
Oh.
Yeah, and anybody who uses their internet on a daily basis knows that is
everybody.
like the worst thing in the world.
Yes, because suddenly we can't live our lives without it.
I know. Well, I've had the internet for like 2.5 years, and I rely really, really heavily on it now. You know, like for helping my friends out.
Yeah.
Do dating.
Yeah, of course.
Do dating.
All of that important,
like that. And,
searching.
you know, talking to my friends online and that kind of thing.
Yeah, they're not your friends, by the way.
No, some of them genuinely are.
No, they actually aren't.
Yes, no, some of them
Honestly,
genuinely
Victoria,
are.
you don't have a social life, it's just typing.
Some of them were friends before the internet, I can assure you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and some of them are... I
Not
keep in
friends.
touch with them via the internet, but they are friends off the net too.
Not friends.
Yeah, they are real friends.
Not actually friends.
Anyway, so I phoned them, and I phoned this major leading telecoms company up.
Yes.
And got an outsourced call centre.
Yeah, you got that hideous gap before you get connected, and during which your heart sinks.
Yeah, and you think you've been cut off after waiting for 20 minutes.
Because you know that you won't understand a word they say, and vice versa.
Yeah. Well, exactly.
Look up vice versa, by the way.
Yeah. I'm glad to know that you... Oh, yeah, look up vice versa. I'm glad to know that you knew what slamming was, because...
Well, I think I only know because you explained it to me.
Well, this major company... No, you seem to know what I was talking about. Anyway...
Yeah, didn't you explain it to me? Or was that somebody else that sounds exactly like you called a little while ago and explained... I still can't believe this goes on. So let me briefly explain what it is, if you don't know what slamming is. You're pootling along, minding your own affairs. Oh, I didn't have the thing up. Where is it? Pootling along. Oh, it's too late now, isn't it? Shall I just I'll just do it anyway?
The moment's gone.
Oh, I suppose so. So anyway, Victoria, you're pootling along, minding your own affairs.
It's spontaneous.
I know. If only this show was planned, then we'd really be dangerous. And you are with a telephone provider and internet provider and so on. And then you come to find out that another company who you've never had contact with has just taken you away from those people, and now suddenly you owe this new company money.
Yeah.
That's
and
staggering.
I don't have the internet.
Right.
Which is the worst bit. I don't actually mind so much about... Well, I do mind about the money, but I don't mind so much about the money. It was more the inconvenience of not having the internet that bugged the hell out of me.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, so I phoned up. I'm now back with my original provider. I'm waiting for my internet to be reconnected. So I thought I'd phone, and I'd organise the direct debits that I needed to come out of my account. So that
Right, because you had 5 years free that you wanted to hang on the phone and do all
yeah,
of
well,
that.
this is it.
Yeah.
What I didn't realise is this major telecom communicating company thing
You're dancing around this really well. Go on.
decide that they outsource all of their call centres during
Of course.
the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I phoned up and I tried 3 times to get them to set direct debit up. It totally.
Oh, listen, Victoria, I feel your pain. I'm with
on the phone.
the dopes that I'm with. I've tried to set up a direct debit with them by phone, by post, by email. It must be up to a dozen times now. Not one single time is it actually taken. Every time I get a bill, which is always for the wrong amount, by the way, twice what they should be paying me. Because I called them this last time, and after having been assured, because I said at one point, right, that's it, I'm going. And they said, well, in order to keep you, they put me through to their, as soon as somebody calls in and they say they're going...
Warning! Warning!
That starts ringing, like, bells start ringing all over, and they put you through to their disgruntled customer department.
Yeah.
And they said, well, we'll halve your bill if you stay. And I said, well, I don't believe you, but okay, I'll just play along. And they said, no, we really will do it. And of course the next bill comes in, and it's twice what they said it would be. And so I call them up, and they say, oh, we're very sorry, we'll do it on your pay us this bill, but in cash, or we'll cut you off, and blacken your name for any financial product that you want in the future.
Yeah.
So pay us twice what you owe us, and then we'll refund you next time. And I said...
How does that work?
Well, that's just... there's no way around it. They say, the bill's gone out, there's nothing we can do. It's just incredible. As though you'd gone into a shop, and you'd asked for today's newspaper, The Sun. 20p, and they say, that'll be £10, please.
Yeah.
And you say, well, no, it's not, it's 20p. Oh, well, sorry, we've already asked you for the money, so you'll have to give us £10. Tomorrow when you come in for the paper, we'll give you the change.
Yeah.
It's amazing that they can actually get away with this stuff, but they do.
It's quite incredible. I mean...
I have to call up, sorry to interrupt you one more time, but now I've got a head of steam. I have to call them up every single month and go through this. I have to pay twice what they owe, what I owe them every month. And they repay me, what they, with the overrun on the next month. This happened, this is, I'm just,
You've lost it.
Yes.
You can't even speak now.
No, that's right.
You know what? I knew you were going to love this call. I knew you were going to have a good phone.
Fortunately, Victoria, we're rapidly running out of time on this call, or I think my head will explode.
Like mine did earlier on. I have a headache, and I've had it all day.
Did you actually find yourself on the floor of your living room howling like a dog?
I actually swore profusely when I got off the phone and stamped my feet backwards and forwards in the lounge diner.
Right, well, you're getting a little bit of exercise as well, so in some way, it's helping.
Nick Abbott.
Are you trying to be funny? Because I'm all out of laughs.
So anyway, I lost a giant chunk of my back molar when I was over at the other place playing
Rock and roll!
But I struggled through manfully. And with every word that I'm speaking, my tongue is rubbing up against it. Because apart from the fact that when my mouth is at rest, which is seldom during the course of this show, you can't stop feeling it, can you?
You can't help, you're drawn to it.
Yeah, you just can't stop rubbing your tongue up against it. And when was the last time you heard that?
We are talking about teeth still, aren't we?
Yes. But it's right at the back. It's the second from back. It's the whatever you call that. One of the molars. Yeah, the back tooth is exactly the correct phrase.
Very technical.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so the fat part of my tongue, you know, Jamie Oliver's all of his tongue is fat. The poor bloke, his tongue doesn't actually fit in his mouth. He's panting like a dog.
You're going to cut your tongue, aren't you?
Well, yeah, I feel that I might have actually done that, but you can't put a plaster on your tongue. So now I'm going to start speaking funny, because when you try and put your tongue out over the other side of your mouth...
alcohol.
No.
What was in that cup of tea?
When you try and put your tongue out over the other side of your mouth, then you do sound like you've been having some...
booze.
With Carol. She is very funny, by the way, and she's on tomorrow at 11 o'clock with Carol. One of my favourite parts of her show is when she does travelling, or her travel clinic, or whatever it's called.
Oh, right, yeah.
What she doesn't know about travel isn't worth knowing.
Oh, right, yeah. I know a lot about lots of things.
Well, travel, anyway. Let's just leave it at travel, all right?
Yeah.
11 o'clock tomorrow on your Super Soaraway LBCing you. Here is the Rhonda. It's Robert from the Rhonda.
I've been on hold for hours.
No, you haven't.
Shut up. Hello there.
How are you?
So apparently, after my call last week, you started slagging off Andrew Neil.
Andrew Neil, on that show, is an embarrassment, and I choose my words carefully. He is terrible on that programme. It's a programme called This Week, which I've never come across before. It's got, does it always have Michael Portillo and Diane Abbott on it?
Unless one of them goes on holiday.
They were squirming with embarrassment. Andrew Neil, I don't know what's going on in that man's mind. Somebody has given him the impression that he's funny. Is he funny?
No.
No, correct.
He's the new thing in BBC comedy, isn't he?
If he's on Thursday night, it must be funny. Whether you're laughing or not, it must be a comedy, yeah.
I'm sure his name used to be Andrew O'Neill as well. The O dropped somewhere.
Really?
I'm sure he was.
Well, that's news to me.
Anyway, that might be diverting. But anyway, I saw...
But is he always like that? Because I've only ever seen it once. Maybe he was just overly happy.
He's always like that.
Really? But he was steeling himself up to do, and he's sort of giggling to himself because he knows that what he's about to say. And when he says it, you think, oh my God, this is on television? Please, Andrew, do yourself a favour, watch the show, and then change your behaviour accordingly. You are not funny.
He knows nobody's watching. He says all the time that apparently the audience are drunk, drinking their Blue Nun and
the audience are drunk?
Yeah, because the show's on like 12:30, something ridiculous like that.
Right.
11:30, so he knows nobody's watching, so you've got to try and keep...
Well, I was watching, and I was squirming with embarrassment in the squalor of my own lounge.
Well, you know, these BBC cuts this week.
Yeah.
There was a clip of
of all the top people, like Andrew Neil and Paxman, all going into Television Centre to find out what the results of this report was.
Right.
And the journalists are outside shouting at these people. Someone shouted at Andrew Neil, and he turned around and was miserable-looking man said, find out if I've still got a job. Blimey. You think he wasn't so happy and cheerful then?
Listen, if there are any BBC stars listening to this programme right now, relax, your money is safe. They're not going to reduce the amount of money they pay to anyone we've heard of. Yeah. Them saying that they will is just for our consumption. They actually won't. Because what are they going to do? Go to Jonathan Ross and say, well, you know, from now on, we're only going to pay you 300 quid a show. I mean, his head is going to explode, and he'll say, right, well, that'll be the end of our little engagement then. We're going to go somewhere else. And then the BBC will say, oh, please don't do that. Here's a 50% raise. They're not going to cut their money. They'll increase it. Believe me.
There was a debate on Question Time. One of the most unfair debates I've ever seen on the BBC. It was Jeremy Paxman, apparently chairing it, between the guy who founded BBC Three and Jeff Randall, their old business correspondent. And on one hand, you got, like, the news tradition. On the other hand, you got this BBC Three guy, all young and hip. So, John Paxman turns to this BBC Three guy and says, so are programs like My Breasts Are Hairy, are they public service programs?
I saw a little bit of that, yeah, and I thought, Jeremy Paxman rubs me up the wrong way. He's a bit too oleaginous for my taste, and too self-regarding and smarmy. But he'd let him off easily, because he did a bit of that at the beginning. He said, you know, is the BBC really about doing bleep off I'm a fat hairy lesbian? And he just started reading these programmes that you couldn't believe are actually programmes. I mean, no one has watched any of them, but you see them sometimes in the listings, and you think, what is this, been run by a 15-year-old?
Apparently so.
And the guy looked visibly embarrassed, and couldn't and wouldn't defend any individual programme. He said, "Well, I'm not going to talk about individual programmes, but," and then he went on to give us some waffle about it being core BBC values and blah blah blah. And you know what? The day before that interview took place, it was announced that the BBC had just bought saccharine, soppy Disney movie, what's it called, High School 2, for £1 million of our pounds. £1 million! Yeah. So they're really spending our money well.
It's a farce. Complete farce. They're flogging off Television Centre, and they're going to go off somewhere else, and they're moving 5 Live to Manchester. That's one of the most bizarre things I've heard. Well, the news channel is being moved to Manchester.
What, why? Why is it being moved to Manchester? You have to think, it must be costing an enormous amount of money to move all those people up, because not only are they going to move them, but they're going to pay to move them, they're going to pay to rehouse them, they're going to pay they're going to pay the spouses of the people who work for the BBC the inconvenience of moving. I mean, the money that they're actually going to spend in order to save money is staggering. It's like you go into a shop and you see a jacket that's 50% off, and you buy 2 because you'll make money. Well, it's that kind of idea. It's insane. So they're not going to save any money. They're going to sell off a TV Centre, and Red Ken is going to insist that half of it is developed as affordable housing, so the developers won't pay them the giant sums that they were originally expecting. So they'll lose money there as well. And they're not going to pay any of their big names less money. I mean, that's just comical that they would even say that. But that's just for our consumption, that we think that they're actually going to start doing, they're going to start listening to us. Of course they won't. Neither are they going to cancel their cabs. You know, I did, I've said this before. This will give you an indication. And this was after the spend days of John Burt. When the building that I was in, they said, and I looked around, and this was before flat screen TVs were readily available. They were about 10 grand each. You know, when flat screen TVs first came out, yeah. £10,000, and there were a lot of them. And I said, oh, blimey! And in fact, there was one immediately opposite a lift in a corridor. You came out of the lift and you had to turn left or right, but right in front of you was a flat-screen TV on the wall, just showing a static logo of the BBC. That's all it did. £10,000. They could have put a poster up on the wall, but oh no. And so I mentioned this to one of the guys there, and he said, "Oh, blimey, you should have been here when John Burt was here. There were so many of them, they were actually touching on wall... there was no part of the walls anywhere on the floor that didn't have one on. There were so many of them, they were actually touching all the way around. So they'd stripped them out, but they still had one just to show what you could ordinarily... what you could have showed for 10 pence on a poster. And so I did this, show. Oh, it was terrible. But anyway,
Where was it?
This was at, Broadcasting House.
It was on the BBC channels.
Well, it wasn't actually on the air at the time.
No.
It was, just a practice before, you went on the air. It was...
I don't know.
The show was catered. I kid you not. A man in a uniform, a butler, honestly, pushed in a trolley groaning with food. Sandwiches, crisps, orange juice, coffee, tea, you name it. It had the lot. But because you're doing a show, you can't eat. How can you eat while you're doing a show? And so it remained untouched. At the end of the 1 hour, the same liveried man came in, pulled the untouched trolley away, and as we left and another team came in to do their little show, another guy with another trolley full of food pushed it in so that show was catered too. That just gives you a small indication of the amount of money that they're awash with over there. One interesting thing, sorry to interrupt you one more time, and I'll let you do your bit in a second, but one interesting thing that Jeremy Paxman said, and he started off his interview with this hapless bloke, he said, how does an organisation turn a guaranteed £3 billion a year into a financial crisis? And he had no answer to that.
Well, the other guy's argument, that Jeff Randall said, today he gets £5 million a year and has to run 7 days a week, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, how much is John Humphrey getting paid out of that £5 million?
Yes.
Plus the other presenters. Do you see the controversy? They speak about, Terry Wogan's penis.
Excuse me?
He was on Points of View on Sunday.
There's something that not I, nor anyone, not even Terry Wogan's wife, has thought about that much.
There's pictures.
Oh, come on.
No, let me describe further. He was on Points of View on Sunday, and there was a wife.
Did it have to be called Points of View?
Could have kept that at the end. Yes, and there was a wide shot of him sitting down and doing his funny thing.
Yeah.
And, anyway, he was wearing excessively tight trousers. Oh. And you could see this
oh, come on. Nobody wants to even think about that.
Of course they do. So, you can, if you've got dark, lonely night, dial it up on the internet and choose.
Yeah, nights will never be that lonely, honestly.
Have fun.
Ta-ta. Now we're all feeling ill.
Nick Abbott.
I want to show you something.
I didn't hear about that. He's making that up, right?
No.
No, I've heard about it
Really?
as well.
I saw the picture.
Well, it wasn't in the Super Soaraway Stun. Nor was it in the Telegraph.
It's such a Telegraph story as well.
Well, the Telegraph is super in love with Terry Wogan, aren't they?
That's probably why they didn't publish it.
Not that much. Not quite that much.
I think they did make a bit of a deal out of it.
Who did?
The
Telegraph?
papers. No, not the Telegraph.
Well,
the trousers were quite tight round.
That's just really, really horrible, and I've heard way more than I or anybody else wants to hear.
No, it wasn't that bad.
Not even Terry Wogan wants to see that.
Although you could kind of see the...
Shall we move on? Here's Forest Hill. Hello, Eve.
Hello, Nick.
Eve.
I'm still laughing about Terry Wogan. I saw that. It was very funny.
Isn't that awful?
Yes, it was awful. Tooth.
Tooth.
You need one of two things.
Yeah.
Have you got any chewing gum?
No.
Oh, damn. Have you got a metal nail file?
Oh, what?
A metal nail file.
Well, what would I do with that?
File it down.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll file my own teeth down.
It works. I did it in Greece, and it really works.
What do you mean?
Other than that...
hang on a minute. You filed your own tooth down?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
It broke off. It was jagged. Had to do something. I was on holiday.
And you filed it down?
Filed it down with a metal tooth file.
Can we go back to talking about Terry Wogan's parts?
No. But get a bit of chewing gum, chew it up, and stick it over the sharp bits of the tooth.
Is that wise?
Yeah, just stick it over there. It won't hurt your tongue anymore.
Oh, hey, that's a good idea. Has anybody got any chewing gum?
Yeah, find some chewing gum.
We're all shaking our heads in there.
Got blue tack.
Blue tack?
That
Oh,
might
great.
work. Try blue tack.
Why not super glue?
No. No. Chewing gum. You definitely need chewing gum.
Yeah. Because my tongue is becoming, like, quite sore now.
Well, stick a wad of chewing gum over the sharp tooth and it will work.
Right.
I promise.
How much of your tooth did you actually file down?
Well, just because it wasn't sharp anymore.
Didn't that hurt?
No. It didn't, actually. It hurt less than scratching my tongue.
Right.
So it will work, I promise you.
Do they not have dentists in Greece?
Well, I didn't want to go to one and pay lots of money.
Right.
It was cheaper to get a nail file
Yeah, I suppose so, yeah.
from the chemist.
You're a DIY dentist person.
Yeah, it works. And you can get tooth kits as well that mend broken teeth.
Tooth kits?
Yeah, it's always worth having one.
What would they consist of?
Well, you buy them from the chemist,
Yeah.
and it fixes your tooth temporarily till you can get to the dentist.
Is that right?
Yeah.
How does it do that?
I think it puts a wad of chewing gum over it.
Yes. That's right.
Try it.
Okay, I'll definitely...
I want to chew the chewing gum for you first.
Right, okay.
Okay.
Come in... yeah, all right, I'll definitely do that. Thanks a lot, Ian.
Yeah. All right, then.
Cheers,
Bye.
ta-da. Yeah, so you're going to chew the chewing gum first. Come in here, Ross.
Don't touch me! I'll kill you! Have you made an appointment with a dentist?
Of course not, because you call the dentist on a Saturday, and hello, no one's there. What kind of a business, like I said earlier on, doesn't work on Saturday? That's a disgrace, isn't it?
I would advise against filing it down yourself.
I'm not going to be filing it down myself.
That's awful.
I just can't imagine that. I mean...
With a nail file.
Yeah, a metal nail file. I mean, at which point would you... Don't you hit a nerve at some point?
Yeah, that's when you stop.
Yes. You have to stop because you're screaming in agony.
I'm in pain just thinking about
before
it.
you pass out on the floor. Well, as I was talking earlier on, as I was saying earlier on, Larry from from the theatre, as Bruce Forsyth says. Bruce Forsyth sat behind me in the theatre, and that's how he pronounced the word. Oh, this is a nice theatre, he said. I've never heard that word pronounced like that in my life. A theatre. Anyway, what was I saying? Like I said, these pills are really starting to kick in.
What pills have you taken?
A handful of multicoloured ones. They're great.
Smarties.
Yeah, exactly. Larry, yeah, from the theatre, he said, I feel pretty.
I feel pretty, oh so pretty. I feel pretty and witty and...
He said that, in that film Marathon Man, he plays the scary dentist, right? Back me up if if this is correct. Does he not play the scary dentist in Marathon Man? And he's doing the business to Dustin Hoffman. And on the one hand, he's got the drill, and on the other hand, he's got something or other that he salves the pain with, right? What is that something or other?
I missed that.
Oh no.
Well, I was just talking to Bill.
Oh yeah.
Who said if you go to Whitechapel,
right,
there's a 24-hour dentist. I don't know if I'd want to visit a 24-hour dentist. They'd fall asleep on you. Anyway, he said
very suspicious.
He didn't know what it was called, and he didn't know where it was.
Right, there's some guy in Whitechapel. You just hang out on a street corner and say, "Psst."
But apparently, he'll fix your teeth for you for a small sum of money.
Right. Yeah. Of course he will. And he'll say,
"Want to score some pot?"
Well, it might take the pain away.
Yeah. But then I wouldn't be able to do the show.
No.
No, I'm just going to have to sit and suffer. But I
you
can't
need
believe
some Bonjela as well.
Bonjela?
To put on your tongue.
Oh, right.
Because it numbs it.
Yeah, okay, chewing gum, Bonjela, and, but I'll just carry on regardless. Every word I say is giving me pain, lacerating the side of my tongue because a piece of my tooth fell out, larger than my actual head. Can you believe it? I can't believe there's such a massive amount of my tooth fell out. I have the best oral hygiene of anyone my dentist has ever met. I feel like I'm patted on the head like a small child every time I go to the dentist. He's always commending me on my oral hygiene. Hygiene, he says, every time I walk in. Let's have what do these mobiles want? Suddenly the thing exploded here. All these people want to give me advice, I bet. Hello, you're on the air.
Hello, Nick.
Yes, sir.
It's oil of clove, what you're thinking of.
Oil of clove?
That's it.
What is that?
It's just cloves, which I suspect has been squashed to get the oil out of it, I suppose.
Right.
And it is magic.
Is it?
It's absolute magic. Instantaneous, as long as we would say. Instantaneous pain relief.
Really?
Is it safe?
Is it safe?
That's what he used to say in the film, isn't it? While he was drilling away, because he was after the diamonds, wasn't he?
It's such a long time since I've seen it, and I was watching it from behind the sofa during the course of that scene. I can't remember what it was about.
Oh, it's a fantastic film. You've got to watch it again, Nick.
Right, I definitely will.
Okay, but oil of clove is what you want.
Okay.
Magic. Cheers, mate.
Thanks a lot. Magic. Oil of cloves, eh? Streatham. Hello, Nick.
Hi, well, it was the same as the last guy.
Oh, right.
Try the cloves.
So have you tried this?
I haven't, but I've read Marathon Man.
Right.
Good book.
Is it?
It is, worth a try.
Okay, I think I'll watch the film. It's quicker.
Okay.
But thanks a lot, Nick. Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Here is Greenwich. Oh, Nicola.
Hello.
Nicola.
Hi, how are you?
All right, thanks.
Good.
I'm in great pain, but
I can understand that.
don't worry about me. I'll just carry on.
I once broke 2 teeth, and I wanted to advise you quite strongly against oil of cloves, because you can burn the inside of your mouth.
Oh.
That was actually in The Independent this week.
Was it?
Yes, when they were talking about the lack of NHS dentists and how people can treat themselves.
The Independent went its own way today. Did you see the front page of The Independent today?
I did indeed.
The whole thing was a weak joke, and I could see the punchline coming a mile away.
I didn't actually.
Really?
I've had a slow day, but it was a very disappointing result either way. But yes, they did.
Yeah.
I thought it was quite clever what they did, but...
Because, do we have The Independent today? Do we have the front page of The Independent somewhere in the
I
building?
have it here.
Do you? Well, let me do it, Nicola.
Okay.
But thanks for offering, all right.
You're welcome.
Cheers, my dear. Ta-da.
Bye-bye.
So, this is LBC, and on the one hand, you must use oil of cloves if you have, if your tooth hurty.
But
no
not
matter,
if you don't
no matter
have
what time of the day it is. But on the other hand, whatever you do, don't use oil of cloves.
Right, so what are we doing?
Carol, we're doing dentistry at the moment. Desperate, Arthur Haupt yanked out 6 of his own teeth after he was told to wait weeks for an NHS dentist. The cabbie, 67, was in agony and pulled the molars with pliers. This is after a week of stories just like this, and like devil dogs. Oh, excuse me. Oh, dear. That's, those sponges covered in chocolate with smashing orange a bit backing up on me now. Oh, dear. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. This is after a week of dentist stories like this, and in much the same way as this will go out of fashion next week, because everybody will have read about it, in much the same way that devil dogs biting people's faces off also goes out of fashion. It happens on a daily basis. It's just that the newspapers only print it when they get a certain amount of outrage, and then they'll print it for like 4 or 5 days, and then next week it's as though it never happens again. But it does, all the time. People in this country, not Africa, India, this country, are pulling out their own teeth because they can't get an NHS dentist. Or they just can't get a dentist, period. Staff at an NHS dentist had told him that he would have to wait 3 weeks for a surgeon. 3 weeks. He tried a private dentist, but found it would cost £75 to pull out each of the 6 teeth. And you'd have to think that maybe if he'd brushed his teeth and flossed her once in a while, then he wouldn't have to have 6 teeth pulled out. It cost £43.60 per tooth on the NHS. So, well, I mean, he could have had half of them taken out professionally, and then yanked the other half out himself, and spent the same amount of money. Dad of 2, Arthur, once saw a tooth pulled out when he served in the Leicestershire Regiment. He said, "One of the men had a tooth problem, and we were told over the radio how to pull it. I remembered it, and I copied the procedure. It hurt like hell, but within an hour my headache had gone." The pain in his mouth had completely overwhelmed the headache that he had before he pulled his teeth out. A chairman of the local dental committee said, "This is a sad reflection on the NHS provision." The area's primary care trust said, "Oh no, it's not." You know, pretty much it's their pat response to anything the government says, "Oh no, it's not." And here are the statistics to prove it. They said the first port of call would be your dentist. Information is available on the NHS website, which is no great comfort if you're in agony. I mean, I go private, like everybody else in London, pretty much, and my dentist doesn't work on Saturday. He gave me a number. In an emergency, call this number. So I called them. After hanging on for about a minute, somebody else said, "Hello?" I said, "I got this number from the NHS." "Oh, yeah. Dawn, it's your phone." Great, this is the emergency number from my dentist. And she said, "In an emergency, please call us on Monday, first thing, and we'll try and fit you in sometime next week." This is the emergency number.
Emergencies don't happen at the weekends.
Of a private dentist. So the NHS, you've got no chance. And like I said, that's not India. That's happening right here. It's a sweeping generalisation, Andrea, I know, but...
What you need to do is...
Yes?
Get yourself a hammer and a nail.
Here's Potter's Bar. Hello, Peter. Oh, Peter. That's the thing about modern communications technology, is they work every time, don't they? They're super. Maybe he's wasn't using hands-free and he's he's deeply engaged with the Central Reservation right now. We can only hope not. So did we get the front page of the Indie?
There's good news and there's bad news. The bad news is there's no front page. The good news is we've got the paper.
We've got the paper, but without the front page.
Yeah.
That's great. So everything is going extremely well.
LBC 97.3.
Absolutely. 0845 6060 973. Nick Abbott. Here we go.
So you've been watching The Sopranos? Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no?
Say again?
Have you been watching The Sopranos?
Oh, no.
What?
I started when More 4 started showing the whole thing from the beginning.
How can you start and not finish?
Well, the trouble was, I didn't have time to watch it, so I series linked it on my Magic PVR box.
Sky Plus?
Yeah, that's the one.
Without mentioning any brand names?
Sure. You did it, not me. And, but because I didn't get around to watching it, it filled my box. And then I had to delete it all because I didn't have time. So I need to get the DVD.
Stop smirking, Roz. There's nothing funny about what he just said.
So childish.
Honestly, I don't know why I bother. in fact, I don't bother.
It's probably better if you don't.
Yeah. No, but that's not true. How could it, oh, right,
It was on every night.
Yes.
So it built up very quickly.
Right. And you, as a engineer, don't have time. But you don't do anything.
I know, it's shocking, isn't it?
This is the person that's technically in charge of your show.
Technically.
I know. Technically. Exactly right. Technically, he's technically in charge. Technically.
And you can't work your Skybox.
I can work it, I just can't find time to watch it.
You can't keep up. Yeah. I know, they do that to you. I don't know why they produce those things that without enough memory in them. But they don't have enough memory.
No matter how much you have, you always fill it.
Yeah, exactly. Because you can never keep up. There's just so much excellent television all the time, isn't it? Isn't there? Isn't it?
I was having a conversation about digital cameras today, talking about
really,
memory.
that's interesting. Now let's go with. I'm sorry. What?
Why don't they? If you're going to sell a digital camera, and then you have to buy the card to put in it.
Yeah, what a rip.
Why don't they just make the camera with a better memory? Why do you have to always buy a separate card?
Well, because that's where they make their money. Peripherals. It's like if you buy an iPod, without mentioning any brand names, it won't work unless you buy something else to stick it in the wall with. That's an outrage. They don't actually provide... It's a piece of electrical equipment that they don't provide a plug for. That's extra. That's incredible.
What's that?
An iPod. This is one of the reasons that I've never bought one. I do not own... actually, I do own an MP3 player, but it was one of the first ones. It's about the size of of one of those old what the hell do they call them?
pills have worn off.
Yep.
Nurse.
Stereograms. That's what it is. You know, like an old piece of furniture that played the radio.
Now that would look silly stuck to your belt, wouldn't it?
Yeah. You'd need a forklift truck to take one of those around. It's huge, but I haven't updated it because these, if you buy an iPod, and you can't take it on holiday with you, which is the only reason I would buy one, because I don't need musical accompaniment for my every walking step. You people who just wander around the streets with headphones in your ears, take them out, you fools. Re-engage with the modern world.
What, so listen to the traffic going
Yes, exactly. Listen to the noise of the car that's about to run you over. Yes, it's very important, yes. But they don't provide, which is incredible to me, and I just cannot get my head around this, a piece of electrical equipment, they don't provide a plug. That's extra. Amazing. How do they get away with it? Don't you find that astonishing?
It is annoying.
You can only charge it up by sticking it into your computer, which means that you can never take it on holiday unless you buy a plug, which is another 20 quid or some outrageous amount like
Not
that.
that much, are they?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a special plug.
Right, so I'm not going on
Yeah,
holiday with
it's
my
white.
iPod then.
Yeah. It's perfectly designed.
But that's true, though, isn't it? You can't actually charge it in the wall with what comes in the box.
Well,
It's extra.
I have a shuffle, and I charge that on the laptop.
Exactly.
Which is fine, so you don't have the laptop.
Yeah. But if you took your shuffle on holiday with you, and you didn't take your laptop, you'd be fresh out of luck.
Then there's a problem.
Yeah.
You can probably buy, like, another brand of plug that will work.
Not
for
advisable.
Probably invalidate the warranty and all sorts.
Probably, yeah.
Might just explode.
Almost certainly.
Good.
So we sorted that out. Here's Potter's Bar. Hello, Peter.
Hello. Before I go on to what I was going to tell you about, did I just hear you say there's excellent television?
Excellent television all the time, yeah.
No, like what? Like which crap?
Well, specifically, the Sopranos is excellent.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you what's quite good. Every time that a new program starts, that doesn't make me want to switch off within the first 5 minutes. I feel like it's almost the same feeling that I used to get with A Sexual Conquest. You can remember back that far, can't you, Peter?
I certainly can. But all the good stuff is repeats.
Well, no, there is a new series called Californication, which is on Channel 5.
Is it any good?
Yes, it is. It is quite good.
I'll give it a go. What I rang to tell you about, are you still in pain? With your tooth?
It's my tongue more than... The actual tooth itself doesn't hurt much, it's just the jagged...
You've got a sharp tooth.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what to do. Is it at the back, near the jaw?
Exactly.
Lower or upper?
Lower.
It's driving you crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, well,
You keep putting your tongue towards it.
Yeah, well, when I'm talking, my tongue is flapping around inside my mouth.
Yeah, well, obviously with your job. Why don't, first of all, for a quick fix, go and get some chewing gum.
Yeah.
Right? But, I've had that. I thought you were in pain. I was going to tell you something else. But for a jagged tooth, go to a chemist, an all-night chemist tonight when you're finished.
Yeah.
Go and get a metal nail file, thin one.
No.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt, and just rub it down gently, and it'll take the sharpness away.
No, I don't think I'll be doing that.
Why?
You're the second person that's called this show and said that.
Well, it works. Because your dentist is going to file it down anyway.
Right.
So, listen, that's all I can offer you, I'm sorry.
Right. Well, much help you've been.
I'll scour those TV programmes, okay?
All right, cheers, Peter.
Cheers, bye.
I could come up with a list of good things that's on TV right now, but not off the top of my head. Comedies, we are out of. Sorry, we've got no comedies. There are no good half-hour comedies anymore. By which
Unless
I mean
you
at
include
all.
all the repeats.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I've seen all those. I mean, I could virtually speak along with the cast of Frasier and Third Rock from the Sun, and yet they're still the funniest things on television.
Do you know what was on the other day?
Flight of the Conchord. That's sort of funny, and I'm watching it now because there's no other new comedy that's any good. It's all rubbish.
Hmm.
What?
You know you're right, it is all rubbish, but
No,
what
you saw the other day.
Do you remember Desmond's?
Desmond's.
Yeah.
Oh, one in the barber shop.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Oh, you're kidding. Well, you're about to say that that's good.
No.
Oh, right.
I was going to say, that must be about 15 years old now, and I can't believe they're still showing it.
15? That thing's much more much older than that, isn't it?
No.
I don't think
Isn't
it
that
is.
70s?
No, I sadly went to watch it being filmed.
Oh, right.
It was early 90s.
No,
Where's that?
now I'm feeling my tooth and thinking about filing it down, but I can't do that.
Do you want me to do it for you?
Oh, yeah, great.
I've got a nail file in my bag.
Don't touch me or I'll kill you. Here's Forest Gate. Shirl.
Hello, Nick. Just to let you know, there's an on-call emergency dental service at Guy's Hospital. There's also one at the London on their dental department, and also the Eastman Dental Hospital.
Right.
And I'm sure if you phoned them, they would tell you. I think it's an on-call thing, but I'm not sure that it's 24 hours, but it certainly is, during the day, because I've been myself on a Saturday.
And how long did you have to wait?
Not all that long.
6 weeks?
No, you're seen, you present yourself and they see you then.
Then?
Yeah, but so it might be worth, because things alter within the NHS, but, a phone call first, I'm sure, would get results. Because it is an emergency dental service.
Right.
Because each of those 3 hospitals have got, dental hospitals with dental students.
Students. See, then alarm bells start ringing in my mind.
Warning!
Students.
The on-call dentist is a qualified dentist.
Right. But he'll be drunk now, or, asleep.
Well, I wouldn't suggest, this time of night, but in the morning,
Right.
certainly.
Well, I'm working, tomorrow, I play...
Rock and roll!
Over at the other place. I don't have to speak much, mind, so maybe I'll get through.
Well, I mean, if you phoned through and, especially with your job, if you told them what your job was, I'm
told
sure
them who
they
I
would
am.
see you even quicker. It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah, right.
It's worth, it's worth a try anyway.
Okay. All right, thanks a lot, Cheryl.
Okay, bye.
Ta-ra. Was her name actually Cheryl, or did you just leave the Y off the end?
That's what it said when she called in. But Shirl sounds better.
It?
She. No, it, as in the word. But Shirl sounds better than Shirley.
Cheryl. No, it doesn't.
I've had an idea for your tooth.
Oh, yeah.
If you get some whiskey
Oh, now you're talking.
and just swill it round your mouth,
Drink it,
keep it there.
yeah.
Obviously, it's going to be a bit difficult whilst you're on air.
Uh-huh.
Booze.
No, not at all.
But it will numb it.
Right.
Do you want me to get you some?
No.
Do we have some in the building?
Oh, I've got to
Sure, I can
drive...
find some
I've
somewhere.
got to drive home. Are you insane?
Well, you don't swallow it.
You don't swallow it?
Keep it on your tooth.
Yeah.
And it numbs it.
Right.
And then if you want, you can spit it out.
Right.
No, seriously, you're looking at me like I'm mad.
I think I'm just going to suffer, because, I'm not complaining much, am I?
Stop whining.
No.
Me? It's not in my nature to complain. Here's, Surrey. Hello, Byron.
Right.
Byron.
I just wanted to say about the charger.
Yeah.
For the iPod. If you, you can buy it on the internet for like 1p. That's how much I got mine for. A mains charger.
I saw that, 1p, yeah. And then you scroll down, and they give the customers reviews.
Yeah.
And much of the reviews said, well, I know why it only cost 1p.
Why? Did it break?
Well, yeah, they didn't seem to think that it was much good.
Right. Well, mine hasn't broken yet. I haven't used it much.
Well, that's 1p well spent.
Yeah, it can't go wrong.
Thanks a lot, Byron.
Right.
It costs yeah, I'm a bit mystified by that. But I had looked into that, and I was so outraged that they charge you extra for a plug. Can you think of any other electrical piece of equipment that they charge you extra for a plug? That's just incredible to me. I was so outraged by that fact that I refused to buy one. Despite the fact that I really, really want one.
Yeah, but then you cut your nose off to spite your face, really.
Yeah. What does that mean?
I don't know, but it sounds quite good, doesn't it?
Now you're confusing me.
It means...
Who would have made up that saying?
Cut your nose off to spite your face.
It means hurting yourself.
Oh, I know what it
to
means.
Avoid... Oh, I see, what me.
I just didn't know what it meant in this context. I suppose so. I'm not buying one in order to,
make a point. Take a stand.
But who are you punishing?
Myself.
Yes.
Hmm.
So it's a bit pointless, really.
Yeah, I'm saying, thank you, sir, may I have another? Here is Specton. Hello, Robert.
Hello, Nick.
Robert.
A couple of things about your tooth.
Yeah.
I don't know how serious it should be about going down to Whitechapel, but...
I'm not going to Whitechapel.
You're not going there? Oh.
Not even during the daytime.
And you see, if you got it at 7 o'clock in the morning, if you're amongst the first 15 people, then...
Well, you win a prize.
Yeah, the prizes you get your two seen to.
It's the prizes you get out alive, yeah.
Yeah, but other than that, you've got to ring up the number.
They give you a flak jacket so you can run back to your car in relative safety, yeah.
Probably so. But the other thing I was ringing about, the rugby. I don't watch rugby. I'm always watching football.
Yeah, quite right too.
Yeah, especially the England team.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought I'd tune in tonight because it was the cup, you said the cup final, the World Cup final.
Yeah.
And it was what I expected, really. In fact, it was worse than I expected.
Mm-hmm.
Boring! It was boring.
Yeah.
And what gets me is that as soon as one of them gets the ball, down the pitch and towards the what you call the goal, the post, whatever.
Yeah, whatever it is they do down there.
Yeah, they just jump on them, they form a scrum, or they kick it off outside out of touch.
Right.
They deliberately kick the ball a long distance down the pitch as far as they can go, but it goes out of touch deliberately.
Yeah, what a stupid game, eh?
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Grown men play that game. You aware of that?
Yeah, grown men watched it tonight as well. Anyway, it's a great show, Nick.
Thanks a lot, mate.
All right.
Cheers, ta-da.
Cheers, mate, bye.
Yes. Now, I have a list of topics. Are we going to get the papers? Have we alerted the security man to watch out for the boy on his bike?
I'm going to alert him right now.
Did we complain last week, by the way, that he didn't arrive?
Well, I would have if I was here.
Right, you would if you coulda, be you shoulda, you so you...
Woulda, coulda, shoulda, but I
woulda.
didn't.
Yeah, but you didn't. So you would if you could, but you didn't, so you...
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. I think I need more pills.
It sounds like you've taken too many.
Do you have any? What colour are they?
LBC 97.3. 0845 6060 973. Nick Abbott.
I enjoy working with people.
So, one of the big stories this week is one of these health and safety nutty stories about cancelling a bonfire night. Did you read about this?
I heard about this.
You heard about it. You didn't read about it.
Didn't read it, I heard it.
Okay, word went around. Whisper, whisper, whisper. A bonfire night party has been axed by council chiefs because it breaches their new clean air policy. You know, the health and safety people, they're taking over the world, and...
They do have a fair point, though.
No, they don't. And it's got to stop. Because they're really peeing us all off. And nobody's actually making a stand, are they? They're just actually taking over.
So in protest,
yes,
we should all have bonfires.
Well, we all will, because it's bonfire night. That's why they call it bonfire night. Yeah, of course they do.
I haven't seen any bonfires for years.
Well,
you get the odd firework.
Oh, the odd?
That kids throw in the street.
Yeah. We're coming up to that, what's the date?
The 21st now.
Right, well, we'll have constant fireworks from now for about the next 4 or 5 weeks, won't we?
Yeah.
And then
they'll be around Christmas and New Year.
Yeah.
That will probably be it.
It's the long, drawn-out nature of the fireworks around the 5th. See, on New Year's Eve, they all go off at the same time, or not quite at the same time. There's 2 bursts. Because if you get yourself in a position where you can look over London, on New Year's Eve, at the moment of the moment that the bell...
The clock strikes.
Yeah, the bell chimes, then the fireworks go off. That's the first wave. And then there's a 10-minute pause, and then, almost as one, there's a second wave of fireworks that all go off.
Maybe they've got a 10-minute delay.
No, they haven't. It's people either light the blue touch paper and retire at midnight. That's the first wave. And then the second wave is people are, busy getting close and personal and doing the old lang syne and all of that stuff, which takes 10 minutes, and they're, drinking and so on. And then they drunkenly think, oh, let's light fireworks, which is, a lot of drunken people and explosives.
And they're probably really cheap fireworks that take about 10 minutes to light. So
that's the reason that there's two bursts on New Year's Eve, 10 minutes apart. And I swear, it's I've seen this several times. Get to a high point in London, and there are 2 sweeps of fire. On bonfire night, on the other hand, it just goes on for a month because there is no one point. When does the 5th fall this year? What day of the week is it? Got a diary?
Yeah, that one.
I bet it's not on a Saturday.
Look, we're all taking our phones out.
Yeah. and so this year it'll be the weekend before and the weekend after and every day in between, and then there's like it's like leaves hitting the ground. They concentrate, but there's a splash outwards.
It's a Monday.
It's a Monday. See, it couldn't be worse.
So what I don't understand is every year you watch the news and you hear reports of kids having their hands blown off.
Yeah.
Don't they learn?
Why do they? No, of course they don't. They learn if they get their hands blown off, but but they never think it's going to happen to them. I mean, you were a kid once, weren't you?
I never played with fireworks.
Well, no, neither did I, but you do get this sense that nothing bad is ever going to happen to you. You are indestructible, like
That's
Captain
true.
Scarlet.
Although I do know
Looking
someone
at me
who...
mystified. like you're one of the Mysterons.
I am
Captain
mystified.
Scarlet, he was indestructible. You remember him, don't you?
I feel like I should be saying yes.
It's a big fat...
No.
No.
I do
Come
know
on,
someone
James,
who
back
blew
me
their
up.
hand
No,
off.
I remember Captain Scarlet.
Yeah.
I was a big Thunderbirds fan. So.
Right. We're trying to gloss over the fact that Ros knew someone who blew their hand off, because that's not really something that we want to talk about right now.
There's not much comedy in
No,
that.
not really, no.
They still got their hands, so he can
right.
probably look back and laugh now.
Oh, yeah, undoubtedly, yeah. No
Does
end
have
of
a
fun.
pretty big scar though,
Right.
but he did learn his lesson.
A scar? I thought you said he blew his hand off.
Well, maybe I was exaggerating slightly.
Oh, well, in that case, I blew my hand off. Well, when I say blew it off, I gave myself a small nick
Splinter.
with a knife. Yeah, there it is right there. You can see that, can't you?
No.
Like I said, it's a very large and deep cut. I was mashing my lemon slice with a carving knife, holding the blade.
A carving knife for a lemon?
Well, it wasn't a carving knife exactly. It was like a cook's knife. You slice the lime, the lemon. You put the lemon in the bottom of a cup. This is my super healthy way to start the day. A bowl of porridge and lemon tea. But you can't just pour the water over the lemon slice, because the lemon will stay within the slice. So you have to mash it up. And I just grabbed thereby blowing my hand off.
You see, you've done it as well.
Or, if without exaggeration, giving myself a small, almost invisible nick. But
Now,
at least I'm not complaining about it.
Stop whining. Never.
How long did it take you to recover?
I'm not recovered now, look.
How many years ago was that?
It was just this week.
You're falling apart this week.
I am falling apart, yeah, you're quite right. There's something wrong with my mouth, there's something wrong with my head, because I have a cold if I doze. And,
It's going to be a near-death experience, isn't
yeah, well,
it?
it is a near-death experience. And I don't want to overemphasise the seriousness of the position that I'm in.
Do you want me to call a paramedic?
Have one on standby. That's a very good idea. Here's, Malia? What is it, Cliff?
Hello?
Where are you?
I'm in Spain.
Whereabouts?
Malaga.
Oh, Malaga, like I said.
Del Sol.
Yeah.
It was just that you mentioned The Sopranos earlier on.
Hey.
And have you actually gone from... that they started off in 1999... right the way through, they've gone up to 2008 now. 2007, sorry.
Yeah.
Have you seen all the episodes?
Of course.
Oh, right. And do you know what the ending is?
Yes.
Oh, right. Because I've just come back from the States.
Right. And the whole country is abuzz, right?
Yeah, they're all crazy about them.
Well, with the justification, it's the best thing that's ever been on television. Don't tell me, let me guess. You're calling me on, Skype?
No, I'm on a landline.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like I said, those Spanish landlines, they're excellent, aren't they? It's like, I sound like Elvis over here. It's like having a phone conversation in Switzerland. There's an echo on the line.
Yeah.
Yodelay-he-you.
Yeah.
All right, thanks a lot, Cliff. I'm going to have to cut him off just in case he tells us what the end is.
I was hovering by the button because I was convinced he was going to say
Yeah,
something.
me too, yeah.
You sounded like you're in a hall.
In a hall?
Hmm.
Well, maybe he'd, knocked over a couple of banks in this country and gone down to, where all the rest of British high-class criminals go.
Obviously, that's not what we
Malaga.
think.
Not him personally, no, of course not.
No.
But that's if we were talking to a criminal who'd knocked over some banks here and gone to the Costa del Sol, which is where they all gravitate, apparently, then they'd have bought somewhere so gigantically huge he'd probably be talking in his hall. Where the phone would be. Because the phone always used to be in the hall.
People don't do that anymore, do they?
No, they don't, but for a very good reason. The hall is the most inhospitable place in the whole of the house. With the possible exception of, well, there is no
The toilet.
exception. Well, I don't know, the toilet doesn't have drafts like the hall does.
Well, like, it depends how you look at it.
How you... Oh, Roz, really, you are out of control. Is it too late to get someone decent in? Really,
Yeah, it is.
I am stunned. No one can believe that. No one can believe that you're the one that's dragging this show down into the gutter.
This would
James,
never
back
have
me up
happened with
here.
Lucy.
It wouldn't. No, come back, Lucy. All is forgiven. Well, not all exactly. Much of it. Much of it is forgiven, Lucy.
Should we do a list?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
What have we not forgiven?
I am shocked. What other programs do you work on?
All of them.
Which one specifically?
Nick Ferrari?
Right, and does Nick put up with this?
Absolutely.
I bet he doesn't.
He likes the creative input.
Oh, is this what this is called? Creative input. Right, you put it in, out,
Well,
and shake it all about.
We were thinking
Where
of...
does Nick Abbott?
I really like you. Do you like me?
Anyway, as I was saying, this council has banned bonfire night. Bigwigs claimed it would be hypocritical to go ahead with the annual Civic Bash because of the new clean air policy. But disappointed locals said it was health and safety gone mad. It's that phrase again. Every time somebody does something stupid, that's the very same phrase they come up with every time. It's, whatever it is, gone mad. You'd think they'd think of something else to say. It's, they aren't saying that, of course. It's the journalists, because the journalists are all so lazy that they don't, unless it comes off their fax machine, which is usually, you know, what fills newspapers these days. It's not actual journalism, it's just press releases. So they don't, if it hasn't actually been written by somebody else, that they can just stick it in the paper. And that's all that stuff with, you know, Posh Spice and, you know, all that garbage that they fill the red top tabloids with. It's just press releases. So there's no such thing as journalism anymore. But if they do actually have to, you know, every now and again they have to write something, they just write pretty much the same thing that they wrote last time, which is why you see the same phrases over and over and over and over again. Blah, 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 gone mad. People in Slough, in Berkshire, will now have to make do with fireworks and entertainment in a park. One fed-up resident said, last year the bonfire was replaced with a
What?
What word is coming?
Well, guess what they replaced a bonfire with?
Sparklers.
No.
See, I heard you starting to say something beginning with TR, and for some reason
Yeah.
the word trapeze popped into my head.
Trapeze act.
Oh, no.
Yes, they replaced a bonfire with a trapeze act. How did they get from one to the other? The council said that it was intending to alternate between entertainment one year and a bonfire the next. In order to protect the environment? How ridiculous. They went on to promise that the bonfire would return for 2007. Now we learn that we're actually having Slough Fireworks Spectacular 2007, no bonfire. And the poor people of Slough, I mean, it's not as though they have any entertainment on their doorstep as it is.
The air quality is so good there.
Well, they have to live in Slough. It must be awful for them. No offence.
I'm sure they like it.
Yeah, right. Oh, come on. Even the...
Close to the airport.
Even the people who live in Slough don't have anything good to say about Slough.
It even sounds depressing,
Awful,
doesn't it?
yeah. Slough. Well, that's what you do with your face, isn't it? You slough the old dead skin off. Don't you? It's true. All of those women's cosmetics commercials are forever sloughing.
I've not heard of that word before, in terms of face.
Yeah. Do you not use cosmetics?
Yes.
The thing about these things that does occur to me is, I think that you should stop. Not you personally.
Say, thanks.
No, you should continue using them as much as possible. I mean that in the nicest way. But, do you have any idea what you're slathering onto your face? Onto your most, intimate and,
A bit of
sensitive
cream.
areas?
bit of cream.
But they're not cream.
Powder.
You've got absolutely no idea what's in them. Particularly,
Well, they have all been tested.
Sure they have. Lip gloss. There's no part of your body that's more sensitive than your lips, right?
They do say that in a lifetime a woman will eat about 8 to 10 tubes of lipstick.
See, now that can't be good for you. Nor can it taste very nice. But it's being absorbed through your lips, surely. All of that gunk that you put on there, and it's on there all the time, right?
Mm.
It's not quite as, but almost as bad as the stuff that you slather underneath your arms. Your armpits.
Deodorant?
Yeah, deodorant. The active ingredient in which is aluminium. Now that cannot be good for you to have that sucked into your body through your armpits all
Might
the
as well
time.
just put a bit of foil there.
I don't think that would work. No,
Let's
honestly,
try that tomorrow.
No, I really don't think that would work. It's just a guess on my part, but I don't think that there's got to be something seriously, and I think that we're all poisoning ourselves. But women more so than men because you put on so many products, don't you? Are you wearing any products, James?
Just the aluminium.
Right. And in much the same way as they're going to find out about mobile phones, they will be finding out about all this gunk that we put on ourselves. This is the reason that we're all dying. In 20 years' time, they'll be saying, sorry about that, but we've killed you all with our products. We had no idea, sorry.
I am very sorry that I screwed up. Totally I am so sorry. You just don't know how sorry I am. I'm sorry.
And about the same time, they'll realise that smoking tobacco is the only thing that's keeping us all alive. Did you see Top Gear this week?
No.
Do you not watch Top Gear?
I normally do, but I didn't catch it this week.
Well, they smoked a pipe on Top Gear
I heard.
as some cheap joke. It wasn't particularly funny, but then nothing on that show really is funny. It's just a kind of...
It's so obviously staged.
Yeah, the whole thing is obviously staged. I mean, that programme, as popular as it is, has escaped this whole furore that's surrounding television at the moment. TV is eating itself because it's pretend. As though nobody had really thought before that all television is pretend.
I was going to say that's what it is.
Well, exactly.
It's all made up.
And I'm not talking about the telephone line rip-off thing. I'm talking about the everything that is on television is not really as it is. Even on those so-called reality TV programs, it's not actual reality. Actual reality is out your window. Actual reality is waiting for the bus. You wouldn't put actual reality
If you
on
want
television.
reality,
yes.
step outside your front door.
Exactly. Don't turn on the television because none of it's real. Like Top Gear, whenever they do the well, the whole thing is well, it's scripted for a start. I mean, they kind of kid on that it isn't, but it actually is. When they're each given a car, and
I've
they
never
have
watched
to.
it.
Well, you're not a bloke. Blokes
No.
seem to be
Last time I
inordinately fascinated with cars that they'll never in a million years be able to afford. Isn't that right, James?
Actually, I couldn't give a monkeys about cars. I just watch it 'cause it's entertaining.
You're kidding.
I don't care.
Well, do you drive a car?
No. I can drive, but I don't have a car.
Right. Oh,
Sorry.
Surrounded by freaks.
I drive. I'm not a freak. It's only him that's a freak.
Oi!
I'll let you fight it out amongst yourselves.
What do you drive?
A car.
Which one?
I'm not going to tell you that.
Oh, you're not embarrassed.
Well, I'm not going to tell you that on the air.
Is it a Mini?
In much the same way as I'm not going to tell you my address. What would be embarrassing about driving a Mini? Minis are great cars.
The Mini Coopers are lovely, actually.
Yeah.
But the old Minis are...
They're a
horrible.
classic. How can you say that? They're as British as, curry. How can you say that they're horrible? That's an awful thing to say.
They just... They're mini.
Well, yes, that's right.
They're not real cars.
Oh, come on. Anyway, men do seem to be fascinated by cars that they won't be able to afford, and they want fat middle-aged men to test drive them by driving them sideways around a test track. Why we want to see that? I really don't know, but I do. And so when they give them a car each, like they'll give the short DJ a Porsche, and they'll give the long-haired hippie oh, I don't know, an Aston or something like that, and they'll give Clarkson the Ferrari, and then they have to go and test them out, and they have to argue the various merits of the cars as though they really, really cared. Here's the shocking news. They don't care. They haven't actually chosen those cars, and they don't consider it to be a great personal loss if they lose the whatever test it is they're doing. They don't care about those cars. They were just given those cars arbitrarily by the director. So that's a falsehood on that TV program right there. When they do the races, you take the plane and I'll take the car. You know, they'll race from here to Switzerland, something like that. And the film of the car going by, that's all fake too. Because either they take 100 camera crews and just stage them along the road as the car goes by, or they take one camera crew, much more likely, and then the car will go by, and they'll do a little shot like it's like they're doing a car advert, and then the car will stop, and then they'll pack up all their gear, and then they'll go 10 miles down the road and find another location, and then they'll zoom the car by the camera again. So they're not actually on a race. It's fake. And they seem to have escaped all of this.
But you do get some people that watch TV and believe that everything is real. Like the ones that watch the news and believe that the newsreaders are talking specifically to them.
Well, no, that's just nuts.
There are people
Nobody
like
believes
that.
that. Well, no, believe me, people think that I'm talking specifically to them. People think that I'm playing... I play...
Rock and roll!
At the other place, and people are emailing me saying, oh, you knew that I was thinking of this song, and they have like a long conversation with me, literally on a daily basis. I'm getting dozens of emails a day from people, well, few people, but they're out there voting and reproducing, who think that every song that I play is personally directed to them, and they take lyrics out and they repeat them to me, saying, how did you know that I was in a relationship with blah blah blah? And
see, the thing is, you can't ruin it for them
insane.
because they're obviously mentally unstable, and if you
as you are mentally as you are mentally unstable if you think the newsreader is talking directly to you. But you don't have to be mentally unstable to think that a race that they're conducting on Top Gear, or them arguing the merits of various cars, is actually real, because I mean, you don't have to be nuts to think that.
But it helps.
That's that's a reasonable assumption to make. But this programme seems to have escaped all of that that insane television eating itself fiesta that's going on at the minute. But it has become less about cars and more like a less funny Last of the Summer Wine. And Last of the Summer Wine isn't funny.
No.
Just make that quite clear.
Why is it, in Last Summer Wine, it's always someone falling down a hill in a bathtub?
Yeah, which is almost
Well, I
what
used to like that.
almost what they've got now on Top Gear is just three old geezers getting into comedy scrapes. It's got nothing to do with cars at all now. It's just become like a daft comedy programme. But I like it. I don't know why I do. I just do.
You hate yourself for liking it.
Yes. Campaigners are demanding that the BBC apologise after Top Gear presenters Jeremy Clarkson, James May, and the other one broke the smoking ban on air. They face fines of £50 each. Clarkson must be on about £1 million a year from the BBC alone, 50 quid each, after lighting pipes during an edition of the hit series filmed in Surrey. A spokesman for Action on Smoking on Health. Well, that's a very Action on Smoking on Health. Oh, because it's ASH, ash. They had to get it in somehow. It's very. It doesn't trip off the tongue very well, does it? Action on Smoking on Health. It's just so they could be cute and it'd be called Ash. He said the BBC should apologise. Smoking in a studio is illegal. It was meant to be a light-hearted part of the show, but the law is the law. What an ass.
Isn't it only illegal if somebody complains?
This guy's complaining.
Oh.
He's complaining until he's blue in the face.
Stop whining!
That's ridiculous. To actually complain about that. I mean, they just lit up some pipes as a joke. And that made... In fact, if Putin hadn't restarted the arms race, it would have been the only thing in the newspapers this week. If we hadn't been at the rugby, it would have been on the front page every day. Three Men and a Pipe. Jerome K. Jerome's latest bestseller.
Nick Abbott.
Come on, we're running late!
Croydon, hello, John.
Good afternoon.
John.
That word about getting rid of dead skin is actually slough, not slough. It's spelt slough, but it's pronounced slough, according to the dictionary.
Huh.
And, the opposite of ash is actually forest, which is the Freedom Organisation for the Right to Enjoy Smoking Tobacco.
Yeah, which is even worse.
So that's an even worsely convoluted acronym.
Forest. The people who want you to smoke fags have called themselves Forest. Like, you know, the clean air people, yeah.
Globule. That probably stands for something in some acronym somewhere.
Hey, you know the Queen, the Queen, went to, visit a town hall. So the town hall people, naturally, put in a new £5,000 toilet. In case the Queen wanted to go while she was there.
How can a toilet cost £5,000?
Because it's for the Queen.
Is it gold-plated?
A council was ordered to put in a new £5,000 town hall toilet for the Queen's visit, but she didn't use it.
Did they return it? You would kick yourself, wouldn't you?
Of course she didn't use it. She's the Queen.
Well,
I mean,
she does go to the toilet.
Not in a town hall she doesn't. She'd go before she left the house.
If you're desperate.
The Queen is never desperate to go to the loo. I mean, when has the Queen ever been caught short? This is ludicrous. A 3-hour Royal trip cost 58 grand in total. 3 times the estimate. It wiped out the local authorities' reserves, and council tax could rise to cover the deficit. The Queen was in Romsey, in Hants, to mark the 400th anniversary of the council's royal charter. Clerk Judith said, Buckingham Palace officials asked what the toilets were like. I said they were not in pristine condition, but they were clean. They said, replace it. There was no argument, it was do it. So we did. That is outrageous. I'm stunned by that. So the Queen goes to the a town hall. It costs them 58 grand. And not the town hall, of course. It's the poor people who pay their council tax. Like, the Queen doesn't have enough money. She's the richest woman... Is she the richest woman in the world?
No.
Is she even the richest woman in this country after J.K. Rowling? Does J.K. Rowling still live here?
Last time I checked, she does.
Do you check a lot?
When did you check?
Today.
If I was her, I wouldn't. I'd have left a long time ago.
Now,
I
where
mean,
would
the
you
amount
have
of money.
gone?
What? Switzerland? I'd have bought Switzerland. You don't pay tax
Bought the
almost at
country.
all. Yeah. Or Monaco, or somewhere like that, where you don't pay any tax, because her tax bill must be.
I'm sure there are
it
some
must be staggering.
offshore accounts somewhere.
So the Queen, who's worth what, £500 million, something like that.
Something like
she
that.
made them, and it's not as though she personally called them up and did it and told them, but in her name, it was done. So she can't be. I mean, either she floats around in a cloud and doesn't realise what goes on. That everywhere she goes, it has been newly painted for her
She must think everywhere she goes
for
is
her
really clean and
convenience.
beautiful.
Yeah. And so they insisted on a brand new toilet. But the Queen... have you ever heard of the Queen going to the toilet? Of course
Well, she
not.
must do at some point. She
Yeah,
doesn't have a
at
colostomy.
home.
What if she's out for 5 or 6 hours?
Yes.
Well, she's not going to take a bedpan with her. Well, no, honestly.
Now, see,
it doesn't matter if you're the Queen or
James
some tramp on the street.
James is I am metaphorically holding my head in my hands. James is actually doing it for real. You are out of control.
Caught short,
yes.
You would need to do so. You can't hold it in, whether you're the Queen or not.
Hey, I feel like breaking out in a song. It was, I can't keep it in. Who's that? Cat Stevens.
I don't know.
Yeah, Cat Stevens. Everybody. Can't... Okay, just move it.
Bit before my time.
Well, so was Mozart. You've heard about him, haven't you?
Who?
So that is that's astonishing. The £58,000 for a 3-hour trip. A brand new toilet that she didn't even use. Of course she didn't. She's the Queen. But Buckingham Palace insisted on it anyway. Buckingham Palace officials said, replace the toilet. Do it, they said. So we did. And now the hard-pressed taxpayers of Romsey and Hants have to shell out for the Queen, who has plenty of money to shell out for her own loo, right?
It must be great being the Queen, though, because you would get anything you want.
Well, yes. And we pay for it.
Imagine you go into a shop and you say, I want a whole new bathroom here.
I want a whole new
I'm
everything.
going to use it, but I'd like a whole new
I want
kitchen.
a whole new everything. Bill the public.
I want you
I don't
to
carry
build
any money on me.
brand new head office for this shop.
You mean like when she pops down to Tesco or something?
It would be great. I would have so much fun.
We should invite her here. And then they'll fix the aircon.
I wouldn't bank on it.
We might get a new toilet as well.
Byron in Surrey. Haven't we spoken to you already? Hello?
Hello?
Oh, it's him again. So, on the papers here yet? Well, we'll do it on the World Wide Wait then. How many have you got up?
We've got five there.
5. Okay, the Observer, the Final Heartbreak. Are they all going to be like this? Is it all about the rugby? Like, that's the most important thing?
I think it's safe to say they're all going to be about rugby.
The heartbreak of England's rugby players and fans alike dominates the Observer's front page with a photo of desolate Johnny Wilkinson in the World Cup final in Ungay, Paris. The Sunday Times. Brave England fall to battling box. I want some other stories. Can't you find some other stories?
One. Oh, there you go.
Blair, I'm like abused wife. What? Hey, go back. I haven't finished with that one yet. How can you leave us hanging with that one? You just moved on to the next paper. Blair says, I'm like abused wife. Well, can we get more about that?
No.
What do you mean, no?
It's a new book going over...
The Mail leads on a new book going over the alleged details of bitter rows between Tony Blair and Gordon Brown and his supporters when Mr. Blair was in number 10. Have you seen Prime Minister's questions since Blair left office?
Oh, it's horrible.
It is like a slow car crash. Yeah, it is a sort of, you want to watch it through your hands, from behind the sofa. It's relatively unpleasant. And it makes you realise how brilliant at the game Blair was. And it is a game. He could bat any attack away with a quip and a smile. Two things that Gordon Brown seems sorely lacking in. People run to the exits when he smiles because it's an actually physically a scary sight. And as for quips, well, that doesn't seem to be in his armour. That's how Blair got away with it for so long. He was charming, and Gordon Brown, not so charming. And you can only do scary for so long. I mean, you can do scary for your minions to keep them in check, but we, as a public, we want nice. Because we don't vote for people on the basis of what they believe in or what they say they're going to do, because we know they're all lying to us anyway. We vote for people on the basis of whether we like them or not, whether they look nice on TV. And so he's fresh out of luck, because he's tried to smarten himself up. He must have a phalanx of people buzzing around him like flies, telling him to comb his hair and wear a suit and put a nice blue tie on and try and smile and kiss a baby and all that sort of stuff that they have to do these days. And he's uniquely bad at all of it. He just makes you cower with fear when he smiles. And he's still got this thing with his jaw. Does he have a permanent cold? Can he not breathe in through his nose? Is there something about Gordon Brown? Is there something about his head that it only has one air intake?
I've not noticed anything about his breathing.
You must have done. Every time he takes a breath, he drops his jaw. You must have noticed that.
I'm not really looking at that area when he
talks.
talks.
Which area are you looking at? Oh, here we are, back at Terry Wogan again. You are insatiable.
Nick Abbott.
Anybody care what this guy thinks?
No!
Right, so we're going through the papers in the absence of the papers. We're just going through what Sky News have got up as their front page thing, which I think, by the way, Ros, was a very lazy way of you to do it. I
thought it was very efficient.
I was hoping that you were going to put up the actual pages of the individual papers, but oh no. So we've only got 2 to go. And we can't actually get any of the stories. This is just Sky News' version of what they've got. So this is all second-hand, right?
Well...
Yes. Guard as Jerry returns to work. Jerry who?
McCann.
Oh, right. The Sunday Express reports that Jerry, the father of missing Madeleine McCann, is due to return to work as a surgeon with police protection.
A surgeon with police protection?
England's World Cup dream is left in tatters. There's Johnny Wilkinson wiping his nose with the back of his hand. It's not very nice, is it? They're giving away fireworks. Sunday Express. Is that wise? They're giving away fireworks worth $29.99. Okay.
I can't see them being very good at $29.99.
Well, they're free, though. You can't
I do like those sparklers.
Oh. That's such a... I hope you don't take this offensively, but that's such a girly thing to say.
Well,
sparklers.
I am a girl.
Oh, yeah, that's
But
right.
you know when you're little and you switch the light out and you've got your sparkler
Yeah,
and
and you whiz them around. Yeah.
It's great.
Very, very dangerous. I'm amazed that they're still being sold.
I'm still alive.
Every time I see a kid with a sparkler, I think, well, you stick that in your eye and then you don't have an eye anymore.
What kid do you know that stuck a lit sparkler in their eye?
You call up the NHS, there must be a list as long as your arm. Unless you got your hand blown off.
Rubbish.
In which case it's longer. Right, next.
Oh, sorry. Okay, next
And
one.
finally, the Star, the Super Soaraway Star. Do you know that the Star on Sunday is the only newspaper in the last year that's actually put on readership? Every other newspaper, even the ones that have done really well, have at most stayed even. Some, if you look at the ABC figures, the newspaper readership figures, even the ones that have gone up slightly year on year, the difference is so small, I bet it's not statistically significant. The Daily Star on Sunday, on the other hand, has gone up over 20% year on year. Every other newspaper stayed the same. What are they doing?
Putting pictures of half-naked women on the
Yeah, but
front.
they've always done that, though. I mean, why are they put on a fifth on their readership? They're going through the roof. Whatever they're doing a tremendous job.
I think sometimes they make these things up, these figures.
No, no, they don't.
Let's stick an extra 100,000 on today.
The Daily Star suggests Britney Spears may have had facial surgery on the Super Soaraway Star, and they're giving away a Thin Lizzy CD.
Rock and roll!
In your Super Soaraway. Who's on next?
Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis is on next, and everything is right with the world. I'm Nick Abbott. Catch me on the podcast, lbc.co.uk/LBC Plus.
On 97.3
DAB
and online.
London's biggest conversation.
Okie dokie.
LBC.